Hello, hello, hello. Welcome on everyone for this episode of Spilling Tea. I have a new guest this week, and if they would please kindly give themselves a little bit of an introduction, please.
Hello, everybody. I go by the username Zach and Sonic. I am a variety streamer, plays mostly like platformers and retro video games. If you wonder like which one could you call me, Zach or Sonic, I go by either or. Going through a little bit of a name change here in about a month, but that's what I go by for the time being. And yeah, I love all things video games. I'm not too picky when it comes to like consoles or computer gaming. I like a little bit of everything. I stream on Twitch. I go by a Sonic Mobian model with multiple different costumes. And yeah, I love to entertain and share my gaming experiences and memories with everybody.
Nice, 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 nice. Um, so now for everyone coming in, so this is Spilling the Tea. This is an interview show. So now, while I have a list of set questions that we'll be going through, um, but anyone in the audience can ask any questions they want. Just put those in the chat. Um, but we'll start off like with kind of very more straightforward, simple get to know you type questions, and we'll move on to stuff that's a little bit more complex, and then eventually moving on into streaming specific kind of questions. Um,
Sure, that sounds good.
oh, and some of these questions, so I have like, what is your favorite, blank. Um, I do this with people of if you can't give like a top, what your absolute fave, you can give like your top two or three.
Like what comes to mind or something. Yeah,
Yeah, if you feel you can't come pick a favorite, you can do like your top two or three. You
sure,
know,
that sounds good.
There's a dragon in my
uh,
wagon and I
Yeah,
don't mean to
let's
yeah,
be
yeah.
see.
bragging
Okay,
about the best hair
welcome
wagon,
in, Drip
dragon
Lane
in the
GT. Thank
wagon
you
you
very
could
much for the
meet.
follow. I'm gonna give a follow and then I'll have to go. I'm having to do stuff. Sorry. You'll have a lovely stream. Love
Yeah,
you.
appreciate
Oh, thank you
it.
very much. I appreciate that. I hope you have a good time doing stuff. The VOD will be here, of course, on Twitch, but it will also be on my YouTube. So whichever is more convenient. Um, so, all right. So starting us off, what is your favorite color?
Ooh, favorite color. So I'll make this brief because I had a bit of a history with like what was my favorite color. So as a kid, I loved yellow. I don't know what it was, but I loved the color yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I got a little bit older, I ended up creating the character that you see on the screen right now. And I don't know why I gave him green and blue as colors. I'm sure I just was trying things. And then those colors grew on me. Thus, my favorite color eventually became green. But you can see like yellow in the eyes and whatnot. So I'm sure that stuck around from just that past history of loving the color yellow. But green is my favorite color. After that, blue and yellow. Probably because Sonic and Tails, and I was just such a big fan of those games.
Hmm. Okay. So next question would be, what is your favorite drink?
Favorite drink? Ooh, okay. So this one has shifted over time too. But if I had to like have like a go-to, hmm, that's a really good question. I know. Hmm, I guess once in a blue moon. I can't really get a hold of it like too often. But there's this like Shirley Temple soda I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoy. It's like this like almost like pinkish red looking drink.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I also really don't mind like any kind of drink that has some form of like cherry limeade in it. I always find that to be like a very
Mm-hmm.
fun flavor. So yeah, I'd say like either one of those two.
Mm. So like so either like a Shirley Temple or something with a cherry limeade in it.
Yeah, so it's kind of in that cherry domain, I suppose, which is
Mm.
funny. I'm not even big on the fruit cherry itself. Like I don't mind a cherry, but I guess you could say like I prefer like artificial cherry as opposed to like an actual cherry.
Yeah, you like the cherry flavoring, like
Exactly.
you, cherries in the quotation marks.
Yeah. I'm a chemical creature. I'll take artificial watermelon, but actual watermelon, like, yeah, it's pretty good. Artificial watermelon, yo, I love candy.
Yeah,
What is this gummy? Watermelon? Sure.
understandable, understandable.
I don't know why
Uh,
I'm like that. I just do.
uh, see, okay, and then next question: what is your preferred tea?
Ooh, preferred tea. Um,
We have to ask this on this channel.
that's a really good question. There's a couple that come to mind, but if I had to pick like the one, um, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I know it's like an orange type tea. I'm trying to remember what it was though. I don't know if it was like an herbal tea or I just remember it being like orange something. Got it a while. I haven't had it in forever. I got it at some kind of restaurant, but it was like some like orange or herbal tea. You also can't go wrong with like a lemon tea.
Mm-hmm.
Anything with like lemon in it.
Okay. And then next question: what is your favorite dessert?
Ooh, favorite dessert. Hmm. Oh gosh, I've become a sweet tooth guy in recent years, and I feel like I'm all over the place. But if I had to pick like the one,
I feel that. No worries.
favorite dessert. There was this one thing I liked a while back that again, I for the life of me I can't find it very easily, but it's I think it's called a whoopie pie of some kind. It's like this like pink little dessert, almost kind of looks like a macaroon or however you
Mm-hmm.
pronounce that, but like it's bigger and it's pink and it's got like this fluffy stuff inside. I couldn't even tell you what that particular thing is called. There's like a bakery not too far from here that had them, but they quote unquote stopped doing them. So like even though it is my favorite, I don't even know if it's really in circulation anymore, at least not nearby. I also don't mind a nice like either lemon meringue or key lime pie. Those two are really good. And you also can't go wrong with like I don't know. Sometimes I'm just flat out in the mood for a milkshake, so I like a good old milkshake every now and then. But yeah, I'd say like that's a little bit of my domain. I feel like my answers are weird. I'm like being interviewed here, and now I'm looking at myself like I'm kind of weird.
No worries. No worries. Uh, and I get all types of questions. I looked up whoopie pie, and but I mean maybe you had like a specific variant of it at a restaurant
Yeah,
because
I think
it's
it's like I looked it up myself. Normally, from what I Google, they're like kind of brown looking, but this one, like, I'll send it to you. For the life of me, I don't know why it's a 25 MB photo. Is this thing in 4K? I don't know. Anyways, but that's like the pink one. That should kind of be what it looks like.
okay.
Maybe minus the sprinkles, but they're pretty tasty.
Yeah, I'd imagine. Okay, so I guess it's like okay a variant on it because apparently the original is like a chocolate.
Yeah, the original ones are
Yeah,
like chocolate. Almost kind of look like those oatmeal cream pies, if anyone's ever familiar with those. Like looks wise, anyhow.
which apparently there is a controversy about it. Apparently, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, and Virginia all claim to be the birthplace of the whoopie pie.
Oh no. Bunch of people, bunch of states taking credit.
Yeah.
Uh, Pop Tart in chat asks, share cake pick.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, let me. And hi, Pop Tart.
Lemon meringue, lemon meringue and key lime refined choices. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Actually, if I can go back to the dessert question, I do have like a go-to now. I'm thinking about it. A nice New York strawberry cheesecake. That
Oh,
is a go-to of mine. I don't even know why I forgot about that. I was like clamoring for it a couple days ago.
yeah. A nice cheesecake is really hard to go wrong with.
Absolutely.
Okay. This was a big
Yeah, I don't know
photo.
why the photo I picked decided to be like the biggest photo possible. It'll be clear at least.
Wait, I forgot. There's a command I know that fits to screen, but I forget what it is now that I think about it. I
I
don't.
think I know which one you're talking
I,
about because a friend of mine told me about it like a week ago or something to like pull up photos easier or something.
is it like Alt Z? Hold on. Well, wait. I probably don't want to. Nope. And Control Z is undoing things normally, so I don't.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to try to remember that next time. Okay, but here's the ones that Zach was here was discussing.
Yeah. They kind of look like that maybe like without the sprinkles, but I mean through and through this is what it typically looks like. And the texture is about as soft as it looks. Like you bite into one, it's not hard at all. It's always very, very like squishy and soft.
Okay, but here's apparently like the OG version of it. The straight
Yeah.
from Wikipedia.
I'll have to try like the actual like original someday.
Yeah. Okay, I cannot remove that.
The pink ones typically taste like strawberry, although apparently there are lemon raspberry ones out there.
Hmm.
So yeah, pretty good.
But yeah. Also, it is hard to go. It is hard to go wrong also with a key lime pie.
True, true.
Um. Although that does make me think, which is before this like guess or whatever I had on. But okay, so let me know if you're ever interested. But so there is this channel, YouTube channel I like called Tasting History.
I've heard of that channel.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, because they'll like
Yes.
also do like crazy old recipes. Okay, and so there's
Yeah.
this one from there's this one recipe from uh the Italian Renaissance where it's a pumpkin cheesecake
Oh my God, yes.
and it is delicious. I mean,
Oh God, I just got done going to a pumpkin festival like not even 2 days ago, and I actually tried out pumpkin pizza. There's a bunch of pumpkin flavor things. That one was a bit more on the bizarre side,
but
but pretty good actually.
it is. I will say there is. You have you. The one thing is you have to be okay with the texture of feta cheese because it uses a
Oh, okay.
lot of feta cheese. But as long as you're fine with that, you know, it it's super rich, but it is also somehow like super light tasting. It's almost kind of like a souffle,
Oh, okay, okay.
like as far as like texture and stuff like that. If you're interested, I can link you the video or whatever for like a reference, but it is crazy good.
Oh yeah, I would love that. That sounds good actually. I'm in so long story short, I've always been somewhat of a picky eater my whole life, but
Mm-hmm.
only in the last like maybe 2-ish years, given my lovely partner, she's gotten me to be a lot less picky. So I've
Mm-hmm.
been trying like a whole bunch of stuff, and I've been watching like YouTube videos of like how to make this, how to make that. I've been trying out like recipes. I got two sorry, she has a recipe book, but I bought one recently. I'm not even like gonna call myself like the biggest Persona fan or anything because I've only like dabbled a little bit, but I
Mm-hmm.
bought a Persona cookbook recently that covers like the third, fourth, and fifth game and like the recipes in those games.
Right.
And I find it fun to like pick something out from that and like get ingredients at the store and like try to whip up something, and it's fun. I think it's kind of fun to cook.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Hold on 1 second. I gotta step away just for a moment. I'll be right back. There's
Oh, sure.
there's there's a family dog being whatever. Be right
I
back.
understand. Yes. I know. I understand the whole family dog situation, chat. We have a big white fluffer in our household, and they are loud. Well, I say they're loud. They're loud when they want something, but the second you give them what they need, they calm down. They're sweet as can be. A beautiful doggo.
Okay, I'm back. All right.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I know there's like the cooking channel like was it binging with Babish
Yeah,
whatever
binging
where
with
they did
Babish.
like I think they did like the curry in from Persona 5. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
in
there's
like the cookbook or whatever, but
I believe it is, yeah. They have
hmm.
a couple of like dishes in the cookbook that are just one of them is outrageous because it's like some kind of like famous hamburger. I want to say from the fifth game, but it's about like I'm not even kidding, it's about a foot tall. It's kind of ridiculous.
Dad gum.
It is like one of three recipes in the entire book that are the advanced level, but everything else is like either intermediate or easy. But there's only three hard ones, and there's like this giant 1-foot burger. And I'm like, no, even if I made this amount, how do you eat that?
For real. Let's see. Okay, Pop Tart is saying, "Oh, I have gone very wrong with the key lime limited ingredients and try to make the best subs." Like, yeah, sometimes subs on certain dishes do not work out that well.
Nah, sadly.
Yeah, my brother learned that over Christmas when we were trying to do when he was when I had asked him like as my Christmas present if he would like make a traditional Christmas pudding, um, which so like would you would read about like in like if you know a Christmas Carol and stuff like that, and it gets
Hmm.
I think and it's a British pudding, which is kind of more it's kind of more like a very soft moisture cake, maybe with like a sweet sauce
Yeah.
or glaze over it, something like that.
Hmm.
Hey, welcome in, Blade 2145.
Hello. Oh, yo, it's Blade. How's it going? I spy a Z. Yeah. Blade's a good friend of the community.
See, Persian lime pie is also very good. uh,
Persian lime pie. Ooh, I don't think I've tried that.
sounds interesting. Uh, but hi, Omega, welcome on in. Um,
And that's my good friend Omega.
yes,
Hello.
yes. But we were so he was trying to make this, and we actually once again used like the recipe for we tried to use the recipe from like that Tasting History channel. But
Hmm.
so though he one of the ingredients, I think there was a couple things he substituted, but like one of the things was it called for like candied oranges. Um and so older brother Cobalt, he's having trouble like finding those or whatever. That was like a difficult kind of like specialty item to find. So he made a substitution. He used orange zest, which is just like you know the little bit
Ooh,
of
okay.
from the skin of the oranges, um,
Yeah.
which to try to get in the orange flavor, that was not a good idea.
Oh no.
It just added a lot of like, yeah, I I feel like he should have just, if he wanted to do that, he maybe should just like added a little bit of like orange juice or something like that,
Yeah, like a hint of like OJ
or
or oh,
just
gosh.
or chopping up like an orange and just putting in the orange pieces and then just seeing
Right,
how that
like a little
works.
bit. Right, right.
Because that was
Yeah, you,
it was just is a little bit of orange zest goes a long way very quickly. Because otherwise, it
that's
is one of
true.
those. It is quite bitter. So to which pith.
N- No, that's
So
fair. I was gonna say, speaking from somebody who makes like I'll go to do something like that, like, oh no, I've made a mistake, terrible situation. Hey, you learned from it, and you can try something different the next time.
yeah. So I kind of like if we try it again like this next Christmas, but we're definitely gonna have to like go on like the okay. Let's pick a recipe that we can for sure you can for sure find the ingredients with,
Right,
and then
right.
we follow it exactly. Okay. So yeah, but anyway, Oh, and also once again, so we have people again. So I do have a set list of questions, but if you have any you would want to ask, feel free to put those in chat. So
Sure. That sounds good.
um, but okay. So next question would be favorite sauce.
Ooh, favorite sauce. Ooh, that's a really good question. Let me think here. I have an answer that I like, but I feel like it being like in the fast food department, I don't think it's all that classy of an answer. But I do really enjoy the sweet and sour sauce that Wendy's has.
Mm-hmm.
I find that one to be like pretty darn good. Um, Other than that one, I'm trying to think if there's anything like more of a fun answer. I've been getting into sauces a lot more in recent years. So I'm trying to think of a good one. You also can't go wrong with just flat out teriyaki sauce.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice go-to. And then, honestly, yeah, I'd say like those two are kind of like my go-tos if I had to say. I know they're not like the best answers in the world, but I do like trying new sauces though. Finding new ones is always a fun little adventure. Um, I'm somebody who went a good chunk of their life without eating like ribs or wings or anything like that because again I was always too afraid to like I don't know why I was too afraid to try stuff like that. I would always have to be like, oh no, I need chicken nuggets or tenders or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then trying like wings and like different sauces with them and whatnot. Oh, actually, more fun answer. There's this I want to say it was from I want to say it's from South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
but it's this like golden fire sauce that I had on some wings about a couple weeks back.
Mm-hmm.
That was wonderful. That was really good. I would say like that was probably my favorite recent sauce I've tried.
Mm.
Do you have like a favorite of any kind?
Uh, I I think I'd have to go like with soy sauce.
Soy
It's
sauce,
just
that's a good
very
go-to.
it's just very versatile, and you can use it
Yeah,
on a lot
it's
of
kind of
stuff.
the it's kind of well, I say this without trying to be like too on the dot, but it's very much like the salt of sauces, if that makes any sense. It just works with a lot of
Mm.
things. I say
Okay.
this as it is salty, but
Let's see. Pop Tart is asking favorite Rankin Bass special.
ooh, okay. These are good questions actually.
That is a good question.
Uh, I had to pick. I don't know if I'm boring if I just say flat out Rudolph because like you really can't go wrong with Rudolph, but um, oh God, let me think. I feel like the year without a Santa Claus is also pretty darn fun. A
Mm-hmm.
little like I don't want to call it under the radar, but it's not as like praised as something like Rudolph or your like Frosty domain. I would say like you really can't go wrong with Rudolph though. Like that's an absolute classic. Santa's a little mean though. I don't know how I feel about Santa in it.
Yeah.
He's kind of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Santa was kind of a douchebag. That's
He sure was.
uh uh if as far as my answer for that, I don't think this would count as a special, but if it can count, I'm gonna say the Rankin and Bass The Hobbit adaptation.
You know what? I respect that.
If it doesn't count, I'm gonna go with which is funny because I've only seen it like I've seen it once and it was like and I saw it for the first time like a year and a half ago or no wait was it a year or 2 years ago? I don't know, but um but it was something. And then also I finally learned out where all the references the Lemmy Winks song from South Park came from. So I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
wait, there. So that's where
That
that
makes
comes
sense.
from. Okay.
I love moments like that. It just connects. You're like, oh, I get it now. It's that one Danny DeVito meme.
Uh, I've only seen the Orc Army song. Yeah, from their like Lord of the Rings one. Uh,
Yeah.
but um, but if that's not counting, I'm gonna go with um uh 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 uh. I think I'd have to go with Rudolph as well.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like it's like a basic answer, but like it's up there for good reason.
Hmm.
People love it for good reason.
Oh, also on the topic of animated Tolkien adaptations, if someone hasn't seen it, the the Lord of the Rings animated adaptation that was done by Ralph Bakshi in, was it 79 or like 1980? One of those, like, give or take a year or whatever. It's
Hmm.
it's actually unironically good. It's really the only faults it have is specifically due to um the studio being studios and like not wanting to actually give him, not giving Bakshi like the time to like actually make it into three separate films, because it's just like it's it's because it only covers Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers, at a very fast pace.
Right.
And then it ends right at the end of after like the victory at Helm's Deep, and then it's and just yeah, those two did not like. We're not gonna make. Nah, you can't do Return of the King. We don't need to do that. Don't worry about it. Which sucks because it was unironically good or whatever, and it actually was like an influence on Peter Jackson. So
Hmm.
and it I feel like it kind of works with Spookbee season because the use of rotoscope that they do with like the Nazgul is like really cool. It really makes them very creepy and otherworldly looking. I think that's my favorite depiction of the Nazgul I've seen, just because it really captures their like otherworldliness or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, uh, uh, okay, but moving on. So, what is your favorite type of pizza?
Ooh. Okay. So I already have a fairly decent answer here. So I don't go too far out of like the norm. So like cheese or pepperoni is good. In recent times, I've been adding like bacon on the pizza, depending on the pizza. But my favorite topping to add now, it's become a lot more popular in like a lot of not just pizza, but like other dishes that people have been putting out there. But my go-to, if like I had to just pick one, a nice pepperoni pizza, but you also drizzle hot honey on top.
Mm,
It's very good. In my opinion, a game changer.
mm. That does sound interesting.
Oh yeah. Usually like I'll like when I go like if I'm making one at home and I like add hot honey on it, I'll like add it as like a spiral on top of whatever pizza I'm having and then it just bakes into the pizza.
Mm.
Very good.
I like hot honey and
Like hot
iced
honey and
tea.
iced tea. Wow, that's not a bad idea actually.
Mm,
I added hot honey into ramen like about a couple months ago just to see if that was worthwhile. It
mm.
changed the texture a little bit, which may not be for everybody, but it was pretty good actually.
I feel like that would go very well with curry.
Probably. I could see it working with curry.
Because I
Should
mean,
give that a whirl too.
like apparently, like honey is something that's added a lot, like for a lot of like in curry, if people want to do a little bit more on the sweet. So I feel like
Yeah.
that's adding also like an extra hot thing or whatever. Oh, though I will say, as far as like curry or whatever, I got this suggestion as like an ingredient to add. Um, grated Fuji apple.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you're doing like 4 servings, then you would use like half of like grade one or whatever. It's very good. Um, it adds a lot of. It's sweet, but specifically because it's a Fuji apple, you get a lot of tanginess. It
Yeah.
works very well. Um, but for like Japanese curry. So, okay, and then next next question is, what is your favorite book? And I will accept light novels or graphic novels.
Oh God. Oh no. This is where I hit my wall chat. I'm not a book guy. But if I'm trying to think if there's like a book. I know, okay, my answer is gonna be very childish because it is of the time. But at least growing up in like school, I've always really enjoyed like not like a specific one, but like just reading the series like Goosebumps. I always thought those were very fun. Um, but like in like let's talk about
Mm,
like modern times. I don't really like read books very often if I'm being so real.
mm. But oh, I totally get with the goosebump stuff growing up. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like when like push came to shove in school, it was like, oh, you got to read something and this and that. I always just really enjoyed Goosebumps because I just like that domain. Um, but I've never really like went out of my way and like read like books upon books. You know, the,
Mm.
the closest thing you'll ever get me to reading a book, funnily enough, is the cookbook we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier. Because at least with that, I can like read and go, oh, I can do something with this. You know, I'm
Mm.
much more of a doer than a like watcher or reader.
Mm. You though on the topic of goosebumps, do you know there's like an FMV game that stars Jeff Goldblum?
Yes, yes, yes. I
Okay.
know exactly what you're talking about.
I feel like you should just, if you didn't know, you should probably know.
No, that's fair. It's funny. We love Jeff Goldblum.
um. All right, and then what would be your favorite movie?
Favorite movie. So funnily enough, this time of year is the perfect season for it. I'm very big on the original Halloween by John Carpenter,
Mm-hmm.
horror movie and whatnot. Um, it went on to span about a dozen more movies, and some are good, some are okay, some are bad. But you really just can't go wrong with the original. I know they say that about most movies, like, oh, nothing beats the original. I think in some cases it can,
Mm-hmm.
but in this particular instance, I feel like the original was the best. It not only just it pioneered and paved way for like a whole bunch more movies that throughout time, and it was such a game changer. And at one point in time, it was the most profitable movie of all time because it was like low budget. So I think that it was like 300 something thousand dollars is what they worked with back in '78, and ended up
Mm-hmm.
making like almost like I think 70 or 80 something million. So like the profit back was like huge. And unfortunately, with Hollywood, when something goes really good, it gets a sequel whether you like it or not. So that definitely spanned a whole bunch more throughout time, but it was such a huge influence, not only like in the horror movie department, but just in movies in general. You know, when you hear the cliche of like, oh, girls running away from a killer, and these are the
Mm-hmm.
rules, blah blah blah. Whether you like it or not, it kind of just stemmed back from that movie. Even though it
Mm-hmm.
didn't make some of its rules, some people like made like the oh, if you do naughty things in a horror movie, you get killed. People like to blame Halloween for that when they really weren't aiming for that in that movie. It just so happens that the way they set the story looked that way, and then all the other people who made movies after that try to capitalize on its success kind of
Mm-hmm.
wrote that rule. And now till this day it's still like a rule in most scary movies that, oh, if you do something naughty, or oh, you're a jerk, you're gonna get killed. Now everyone these days who make movies have to like find a way to twist that, or it's just too predictable. But anyways, yeah, Halloween. Sorry, I didn't mean to ramble. It's just that's like
No,
one of
no,
my
no, no.
favorite
It's
little
fine. It's fine.
areas.
You are the guest. You are free to ramble.
I appreciate it.
Um. Uh. 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 All right. So, what would be your favorite um TV series slash streaming series slash web series thing.
Like show and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, episodic, formatted entertainment moving picture thing. I don't,
No, that's fair. That's a really good question because like I love so many different kinds. I might hit a few different areas, but I'll give like my definitive answer. So, um, growing up as a kid, I was very big on the cartoon Ed, Edd n Eddy. I
Mhm.
just thought that was like the funniest thing when I was a kid. I still like it now, but I feel like it hits harder when you're like that age group and it's for you. Obviously SpongeBob was big at one point. I was very big on SpongeBob. And yeah, my vocabulary has completely changed because of those shows.
Mm.
Um, but you know, then as time moves on and whatnot, I watch other things, and with streaming services and the internet, there's a whole lot more to watch. So I end up getting into anime. And for those who don't know, my favorite anime of all time is Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball franchise. Although in very recent times, very, very recent times, I have been dabbling into an anime called One Piece. Most of you know what that is, I'm sure. One Piece has 1,000 something episodes, and it has taken me almost 2 years. I'd say like a little over a year and a half to almost get caught up. I'm currently, I think, on episode like 950 something. So I'm really close to like catching up, but that has taken forever to catch up to. But that one's really good. I'd argue that might be my second favorite, if not. I don't know if it'll overtake Dragon Ball for me. My brother also watched One Piece, and he was like, "Dude, I'm like." He loves Dragon Ball just as much as me. He's like, I might convert. I might be a One Piece guy. I'm like, oh, and I feel him. I feel him on that one. But I'm still gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna say Dragon Ball. And then when it comes to like online, like internet shows and whatnot, um, very recent times, and it's technically coming to a close not too terribly long from now. But I've really enjoyed the Amazing Digital Circus. I think
Mm.
that's a really fun show. Very popular to a lot of people. But here I was sitting here thinking like, oh, we're gonna get like a bunch of this for like years to come. I think they've got like I think two more episodes that are coming out. Then like that's it. They're wrapping it up. I'm like, no, don't go. I just started really enjoying this.
I think it's
But
three.
it might be three. You might be right about that. I think they announced that there's two more with like release dates, but I think you're right. There's three. They're not telling you when the last one's coming out. Is
Yeah.
probably what's going on. So there's three more, and then that's it. And while more people could argue like, oh come on, why don't you do more? I respect it when creators want to wrap something up when they think it's ready to be wrapped up. I know it's like sucky to like see something end, but I respect it when they're like, oh, we know how we want to end it. We want to keep it this many episodes. Like I respect that. An anime I really enjoyed that is funnily enough coming to an end pretty soon is My Hero Academia.
Mhm.
Really enjoyed that show, and I expected it to last longer. And they're like, no, the creator's like, no, we're wrapping that up. And I'm like, okay, I have to respect that rather than just, if you're a creator and you don't want to drag it out, how can I be mad at you? I understand that to a degree. So, but yeah, a lot of those are like my typical favorite go-tos. But if I had to pick like the one, like this is like the one thing you really enjoy, um, probably. No, that's hard. Me, I'm kind of caught between Dragon Ball, like being like my favorite thing, or I don't know. I have a soft spot for Ed and Eddie. There's only so much of that show you can watch before you're like, okay, yeah, I've seen this like a million times over. But I'm gonna go with my answer, Dragon Ball. I really enjoy
Mm.
Dragon Ball. It's like a friend. Not, I say Dragon Ball. I emphasize on that because a lot of people will say Dragon Ball Z because like that's like the name and logo people look at most of the time. I'm saying Dragon Ball is like a whole. So like Dragon Ball Z Super. Daima. I don't even really mind GT. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I don't mind
Abridged.
it. Abridged, yeah, abridged. That one's kind of that one became so strong that some people like know that more than the actual Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. Like they'll reference abridged, not knowing like the actual like show because that's what they watch with like either like friends or like that's what they've watched on the internet of it. And they'll go to like rewatch not rewatch, but they'll go back to like watch the original show, and the jokes make sense to them now because they actually have the context behind them. And I'm like, I just find that so fascinating. I
Mm.
remember one time, like long story short, I remember being at a hotel for this convention I'd went to a good couple of years back. I remember like walking up to the hotel room. We just came back from somewhere, and I saw the people behind Dragon Ball Zia Bridge like getting in the car, like driving off. Like, were those the people? Like, that sure was. I'm like, hi, that's funny. They were staying at the same place. but they're cool, and I'm sure they're doing like new things now.
Mm.
I don't really like keep up, but it's cool.
Let's see. Omega was saying we can finally watch film Red soon.
Right. I promised to like watch some of the One Piece films with Omega and some people in my community. But in order to watch those films, you have to like get caught up to a certain point in One Piece. And like I stated, One Piece is like 1,000 something episodes. So if you're like, oh, we want to watch film Red, you better be on like episode like 1,000 something to be able to watch that movie. I'm like, I'm trying. I'm almost there, everybody. Don't worry, I'm almost there. I watch like a couple episodes a day if I can help it.
Although that reminds me on the One Piece thing, it's like, do you remember like the recent thing where it was like recently? I think it just happened like a couple months ago, where like basically like all the young people of Nepal like overthrew the corrupt government
Hmm.
and like but like one of their symbols that we're using was the One Piece flag.
Yeah. I love
It's
that so much.
it's now getting like picked up as sort of like a symbol or whatever.
That's so funny. I love that.
That is wild, yo.
One
Uh
Piece is pretty powerful. Like
yeah.
I'm in the camp that I always thought like Dragon Ball was like the biggest one. I think to a degree it is, but because it's like done, like they typically are like done with it. They
Mm,
come back, they'll dabble, then they're done again. But like One Piece has been the most ongoing like anime that I feel like if you're talking about like ongoing shows, like yeah, anime wise, One Piece is probably the king.
mm,
Probably. I would say
uh
that hurts saying that as a Dragon Ball fan, but I mean, I like both. I like both.
let's
There's
see.
a dragon in my wagon and
Oh,
I don't mean
It's
to be bragging,
Deku.
there's
thank
no
you very
wagon,
much for the
dragon
follow,
in my
Twilight
wagon, you could
Oh
need.
my gosh, Twilight Deku.
I
I almost said Veku for some reason. I don't know why.
oh no, Veku. That's they're a Kingdom Hearts fan. That's like they're nobody. Veku. Oh no. They're gonna kill me for that. I'm so sorry. No, I had thrown out the advertisement for this stream a while back. I'm just like, all right, everybody, go give virtual follows. Come on through.
I
I like
appreciate that.
attacking people with support.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely, you
Uh,
deserve it. Hello.
okay. Now, what is your favorite musician?
Ooh. That's a very good question. So I don't know if it's a boring answer for say because like I don't mind modern music, but I'm very of like classical like 80s or 90s or even early 2000s. I'm just very of like that era.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably not gonna be able to give anything like modern, but
Mm-hmm.
um gosh, I don't know if I have a favorite musician. I'm kind of just all over the place. You know what? I have an answer, but it's also really dorky, so everybody like bear with me when I say this because it just this person means a lot to me as like a composer of music. Not really like like I say not really music. You know how some people go, oh, video game music isn't real music. I completely disagree with that. And to that note, I add my favorite musician, at least in the video game department. If anyone's familiar with Grant Kirkhope, who has worked on like Banjo Kazooie and GoldenEye and all that. Like that's like
Mm-hmm.
absolutely my childhood. His music always like puts a smile on my face, and anytime I play those games, they always bring me joy. I own like Banjo Kazooie, Tooie, and Viva Pinata, and a few others like on vinyl. Like the vinyl records, I have them up on my wall because I love his music so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably throw him out there if I had to like have like an answer. And again, I know it's not like out there music that everybody else is listening to today, but like that video game wise, that one always brings me joy.
Mm-hmm.
He did stuff for Replayly recently too.
Uh, okay. So next question would be, what is your favorite album?
Ooh, favorite album. I feel like video game music is like a little cheating at that point, so I'm gonna try to figure out like a real deal one. Um, favorite album. Hmm. I'm sure there's a couple that come to mind. While I think of mine, because I have a couple in mind, do you have like a particular one that you enjoy?
So my favorite album is going to be it's an Alice Cooper album called From the
Alice
Inside.
Cooper. Good choice.
So from the Inside, which was an album that he wrote after being discharged from a mental hospital because he was undergoing treatment for alcoholism,
Yeah.
and this was before there wasn't like specific clinics to deal with alcoholism and other stuff like that. It was just
Right, given that time.
we have psychiatric hospitals, so yeah, have fun with that.
Right.
You don't have cushy rehab. You don't have Betty Ford, that type of
Nope.
stuff. You just have nah. You're right. You are sharing the room with the guy who thinks he's Napoleon. Have fun. So it's an album that's like based on his experiences there and like characters he met and stuff like that. So
Yeah. No, honestly, that's a good answer. I think if I had to boil it down to like an album that I really enjoy, um, I'm a pretty like I don't most people probably don't know this about me. I'm a pretty big fan of Creed. I'd
mm-hmm,
probably give it to the Human Clay album. I
mm-hmm,
really enjoy listening to that one on a like just some downtime and whatnot. I don't listen to it as often as I'd like, but yeah, Creed's pretty good. And that's like my like go-to album of theirs.
mm-hmm.
I think that one was late 90s, but don't quote me on that, chat. It might be early 2000s.
Okay. And then so getting onto like some gamer questions.
Ooh,
Um,
okay.
what is your favorite game?
Favorite game of all time. So this one may not be too surprising coming off the subject I just got done talking about, but I'm a very, very, very big fan of Banjo-Kazooie for the Nintendo 64.
Mm-hmm,
I had a bit of like fight inside of me for like years, going like, what's my favorite? Is it Banjo and Kazooie or Sonic Adventure? Because Sonic Adventure is my favorite Sonic game of all time. And
mm-hmm,
I really had to ask myself, like, okay, which one of days and like brings you the most joy? And if you go to replay it, you don't feel like it's like work or anything. And I can play banjo all the time, and just feel happy about myself. Whereas, like, if I play Sonic Adventure, I really do enjoy that game, but I feel like I go into autopilot at some point where I'm just like, "Yep, I know what I'm doing, and we're done." As
mm,
with banjo, I can go into autopilot with that game, but I don't quite go into that like numb state of autopilot. Like, I enjoy every little like minute of that game. Where Sonic Adventure, I'm just blazing through levels. I'm like, "Yep, I sure am fast." But yeah, I'd say the original Banjo Kazooie.
Okay, then what is your favorite game character?
Favorite game character. Okay, so y'all might be surprised when I say this. It's gonna shock you. I'm a pretty big fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. And before anyone goes, okay, but what's your favorite character from Sonic the Hedgehog? Again, I'm basic. I like Sonic through and through. Um, he's just always been like a character I've looked up to, and always thought of him as like a hero to like look at and whatnot. And to give at least a more fun answer, if anyone's like, okay, besides Sonic, who would you pick? Uh, Definitely either Tails or Blaze the Cat. I find them to be a lot of fun. And
Mm,
then in the IDW comics, I'm a very big fan of Tangle, the lemur.
mm,
But that's my more like here's a flavorful answer. But yeah, through and through Sonic. I know it's like pretty darn straightforward, but yeah, he's been such a big part of my life, and I met God knows how many people through just that franchise and that character, and I've gotten to see like Crush 40 live twice and gone to conventions, and it's been nice. I wouldn't know my lovely partner if it wasn't for Sonic. So it's like, yeah, it's all very important to me.
oh,
Yeah.
Omega says I always thought your favorite character was Bubsy from Bubsy 3D.
Not yet. Even though I say unfortunately, I've played all the way through Bubsy 3D twice now. Once recently through that new collection. We do have Bubsy 4D coming out, which is actually looking to be a really good game, and it's shocking people, but it's I think it's kind of smart. I don't know what made them decide to go through the developers of Demon Turf and whatnot, but they chose people that like knew what they were doing. So the best thing you could do for Bubsy is actually give him like a real deal good game, because he's so notoriously known for being in like quote unquote bad games that the second you give him a good game, like bro's gonna get publicity from his past, but people are gonna buy because like, oh my god, a good Bubsy game, like that headliner, like yeah, it's gonna make money. Funnily enough, so I'm actually excited for that game.
Mm.
But Omega, no, no, it is not, not Bubsy.
I thought it was gonna be what's his name? Gex from the Gex
Oh, we
games.
love Gex. We love Gex. I do actually enjoy some Gex. Got the trilogy not too long ago. My dad grew me up on the games and whatnot, and they are hard. They are hard games, especially the first one, but they're fun. Yes, say Gex.
Uh, all right, okay. So we got an ad break incoming. So it's a 3-minute ad break, so folks don't have to deal with pre-roll ads. Um, but while we are on our ad break, um, I will say, while I'm working through a list of questions I have, if you happen to have any um specific, if there's any questions you would like to ask, please put those in the chat. So feel free to use this time on putting those while we're in an ad break. So,
Yeah, I would love
but
to hear some questions.
yeah, just put those in there, and we will. Okay, we're gonna go on an ad break, and then we will see y'all in 3 minutes.
Yeah, see you soon.
Okay, come on in back. Yes. You're back from ad break. Yes, you tact was or tact was a correct answer. Just if you were wondering, Pop Tart, you got tact. So uh uh, I'm sorry you didn't get FNAF though.
I wish. Unfortunately, with words on stream, abbreviated words don't count. But if it were me, I'd make FNAF an acceptable answer.
Was that the bite of 87? Uh. Okay. So let's see. Were there any questions? Sure. Okay. I don't think I didn't see any.
Yeah.
But feel free to put those in chat as we're going through. So though I did think of this while I was going. So, what would be what would be your favorite spooky season video game though?
Ooh, spooky season video game. Oh god dang it, Omega. Let me think here. Favorite spooky game of the season.
While you're thinking, I have my response to Omega.
Sure. Yeah. So one that has become tradition for me to tackle, like for a while there, it was every other year, and now I've told myself it's going to be an annual game. That I like stream and whatnot, but I really enjoy a platformer called Scooby Doo Night of 100 Frights.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously based off the Scooby Doo property, but it's actually a really solid platformer. Little collectathon game that is by the same developers behind SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Uh, that's a pretty big notable licensed kids game and whatnot, but I really enjoyed that one. Um, and yeah, I'd say that's like my definitive, like, always go back to and play kind of game. Recently I also played a little under the radar PS1 gem called Jersey Devil. Not a lot of people know
Mm-hmm.
about that game. But I'd argue like if I had to pick like maybe a second, maybe that one.
I remember like hearing of like I never played it, but I remember like hearing of Jersey Devil. Okay, hold on. Now I have to. Devil game.
Yeah, heaven forbid you type in Jersey Devil and like nothing else, you get like all the actual Jersey Devil stuff. Like, no, the video game.
The game, not the cryptid.
Yeah, not the cryptid.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember the name. I don't like the character design is not ringing a bell
That's fair.
for me. Or I think maybe like
It's
the
a
purple thing, but
Yeah, it's not a super well-known game. However, the development, like the developer team, well, not the team, but like like the developer name that was on it, the people who had made Jersey Devil went on years later with whatever employees they had.
mm,
They went on to make a more popular spooky game called Dead by Daylight, which most people don't know that they went on to make that.
oh wow.
They went on to make Dead by Daylight, and if anyone is also familiar with Naughty Bear, most people know Dead by Daylight, though, I'd argue. But they did Jersey Devil back in the late 90s. Again, I'm not going to say it's the same people, because after like a decade and some people might come and go. But
Mm,
in terms of like team name, yeah, same people.
just
Behavior.
but then does that mean we're gonna get a Jersey Devil a
Killer.
killer skin?
I was thinking the same thing because we actually had Naughty Bear put into Dead by Daylight. I'm like, oh my god, they recognize Naughty Bear. Let's go.
I
That was
know
a
Naughty
ridiculous
Bear. That was
game. Yeah, Naughty Bear, let's go.
I've
Oh my
like seen
god.
it like here and there, like on Steam, but
Yeah, they're very, very they're very the Xbox 360 era. Like if you go to like watch gameplay of them, like you'll know more than likely what era it came from. I can
mm,
maybe see some people calling it like Oh, was this like on the PS2 or Xbox or something? But it's very 360 PS3 era.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, and so next question. And this is kind of a general, so if you want to do video games, you can do it. If you want to take up movies, you can do that, or anything like anything else. But what is something that is overrated, and then something that is underrated?
Ooh. Ooh, overrated and underrated. I get to be a little mean. I'm just kidding. Let me think here. Something overrated. Hmm. And underrated. You got two answers here. Let me think. Hmm. That's a really good. Those are two really good questions. Trying to think of one that's like overrated without it being like a very just typical answer. Because like one of the things that came into my mind immediately, which no shade towards anybody who likes this type of thing. I have a couple friends that do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like something that has definitely overstayed its welcome, and I feel like people should be burned out on by now, but they're not. Call of Duty never dies. I don't hate it. I don't hate it per se. I played like a couple of them back in the late 2000s. I was like 13 or 14 at the time. I'm like, yeah, Call of Duty. You can go online and shoot things. Woohoo. But eventually I like jumped out of that. I'm like, okay, these are kind of samey. Um, and then,
Yeah,
obviously with the company kind of went on to have like this crazy reputation. And I'm just kind of sitting there like, I'm just overseeing those. They're kind of on that like level of like I don't know, you go to work or you go to a job and your coworkers, you ask your coworker, like, oh, what kind of video games you play? They play video games like, oh, I play Call of Duty or I play FIFA or I play, I don't know, Madden. I'm sitting there like, do you play anything else? Like, man, I always get that as like an answer, and it just
yeah.
seems like they always crank them out all the time. And I'm not calling them like bad games per se. Like if people like them, fine. But I feel like
They
I
have
don't know,
they
they're
are
they're
past
a little.
they're past their golden age.
Yeah, I feel like they're a little overrated these days.
Yeah,
But again, play what you want.
I mean, it's one of those things like, I mean, like especially like, I mean, it is one of those like those first couple like modern warfare games, and like then like the first Black Ops.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, those were a hell of a game.
They sure
Like,
were. I mean, I
and
remember
like,
I played up to Black Ops 2, and it
yeah,
was like after that, it was just kind of like, eh.
and it was like, and they had like genuinely like really interesting like plots and stuff like that. And then it's
Yeah,
just
they
kind
did,
of like,
honestly.
yeah. And then I
Yeah, they
remember
said,
like the multiplayer in the first Black Ops was like really solid. Like I
oh
did
yeah,
that for a while, and that was fun. But then it's like kind of afterward, like I remember doing the multiplayer for like another one of the like later installments, and I was just like, why is the old one much better?
right. No, I feel that. I think I'd played Black Ops 1 and 2, and I was like, yeah, these are a lot of fun. And then I think the one that came out was called Call of Duty Ghosts. I went to play that for a particular reason. Kind of going back to a previous question, you asking my favorite movie. They actually had like the main killer from Halloween
Mhm.
in Call of Duty Ghosts, and I'm like, oh, I gotta buy this now. It's got my favorite guy in here. I go to play, I'm like, huh. And then like that just the buzz was done. It was just dead. I was like, nah, this isn't what I thought it would. I thought it was gonna be cooler than this. It was okay. And then I just kind of went, you know what? I'm kind of done with these games. I never played Black Ops 3. Then Black Ops 4 came out,
Mhm.
and I don't know what it was, but like at that point in time, I went, I'm kind of in the mood for like a generic FPS. Like I want some garbage, and I like purposely bought Call of Duty Black Ops 4, not no like knowing I'm done with these games, but I was like, I need to like feel what one of these are like nowadays. I'm just like, I want a little bit of like fast food garbage for myself. I
Mhm.
go to play it, and I'm just like, all right, I got my fill. Yep, those sure are the same still. Anyways, and then I've never played any since then. I'm kind of just done.
Mhm.
But
Uh,
yeah, I feel like those who have received their welcome.
okay, and then what's something on the other side of the spectrum? What's
The
something underrated?
underrated side. Ooh, underrated. Let me think about that one. what is something I've played that people like kind of sleep on? I really enjoy. That's a really good question. I have like a game that comes to mind, but I don't blame it for being underrated because it's like I'm not gonna call it like the grandiose like wow, this is the hidden gem that nobody plays. But there's a platformer called Klonoa that I feel like people kind of sleep on. That's a fun platformer. It's got a sequel
Yeah,
and a couple of Game Boy Advance games.
that's where it's the kind of like Fox thing, but it sort of has like really big floppy ears.
Yeah, people, funnily enough, like to think like, oh, is that like a Sonic character? Because it's almost got like a similar look to it. It's not, but yeah, he's got like the floppy big ears. Kind of looks kind of like a dog cat thing. I don't know.
Mm,
People don't technically know his species. It's not really clarified. He's kind of a mixture of like I think three things. At least design wise, but they'll never elaborate what he really is. But that game's a lot of fun. I'll also take a second jab at like what's underrated. So I'm gonna say this, and people are gonna go, "That doesn't make any sense." That's a very popular like character and franchise. I'm gonna say yes, but no. Um, and I'll explain it to my best ability. But I'm gonna throw out Pac-Man, and you might be like thinking like, "Well, Pac-Man's popular." Yes, he is. I would argue Pac-Man in an arcade sense, like you go to your like Dave and Buster's round one, some kind of arcade
hmm.
wherever. There's always gonna be like Pac-Man arcade machines. He's everywhere. Like that's always gonna be a part of history. He's huge. Bandai Namco's like that's like their like mascot. Sure.
Right.
But I feel like when it comes to like their other games, like console games at home,
Oh, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
platformers like Pac-Man World One, Pac-Man World Two, the recent like remakes of those, even just the spin-off Pac-Man games, for a character that big and iconic, not as big as you'd think in that department. Like they
Yeah.
kind of either they're hit or miss, but nobody plays them as much as like Pac-Man World Two Repack came out recently, super good game, but like like there was a very few of us out there playing that when it came out, where like everybody was playing like Sonic Racing Cross Worlds or like whatever the newest like AAA game. What was it Ghost of Yotei? Like that came out not too long ago. So like people are playing those games, but like here I am playing Pac-Man World 2 Repack with like maybe like two other people out there
Yeah.
going, "Yeah, we're so back," but like not everybody. For a character as big as Pac-Man,
Yeah.
not as big as you'd think on that level.
Yeah, it's on the one hand a super iconic character, but it's never been like the attempts to like really capitalize on the IP and actually doing things with it has always been like very, you know, on kind of
Yeah.
like the down low, and it never has it's not nothing really. The I mean, the last breakout Pac-Man games that did super well were the original
Yeah.
arcade ones.
Yeah. And
Like, yeah,
I feel like Bandai Namco, like I'm not gonna call all the developers who make all the games, like, they have a bunch of different people work on games. I'm not gonna like call them all out in one single post. But I feel like the company Bandai Namco looks at Pac-Man, you know, they try to think of like, oh, what game should we make? I feel like they like no matter what, they have this mentality of like, oh, it's Pac-Man. He's so well known that his name and his look will just carry out whatever game we release, no matter what we
yeah,
put out there. So like, oh, so dear old dad will see like, oh, it's Pac-Man, and like want to jump in on that, but I don't feel like the name carries it as far as it used to. Like it's a big name, sure, but I don't know. I feel like they look at the name and go, yeah, that'll do the job. And like, yeah, the people who made Pac-Man World 2 Repack recently, they did a phenomenal job. And whether the name is Pac-Man or not, I feel like, it did well and I hope it sells well and whatnot. But then like they'll have like this like Pac-Man Battle Royale game that came out not too long ago. Oh my God. Like I'm not even kidding you when I say this. You're gonna find this funny. They had a Pac-Man Battle Royale game that came out
mhm.
originally on what they called the Stadia. I don't know if anybody remembers Stadia. Probably not.
That was
But there's this like
the
it
Google
was this
the Google
yeah, the
platform
Google like
attempt.
streaming thing, right? And I never believed in that kind of thing. I was like, that can't be any good. But they had a demo for that game before the game came out, and I was like, I was the Pac-Man guy on YouTube, I did a lot of YouTube content for Pac-Man, and I was like, yeah, we'll go ahead and cover a video on this just for funsies, because, I'm the Pac-Man guy, sure. So I go to cover it, and I upload a video to YouTube and everything. And I wake up one morning on Twitter, and YouTube Gaming says, check out Pac-Man Battle Royale. It just came out recently. Check out Sonic the Hedgehog's gameplay on this. I was like the front cover for that. And I was
Wow.
like, I was like, oh, like one, what an honor. Two, oh no, if I'm the cover of this is bad because I didn't even like the game. I'm like, this is bad. And like about like I want to say about a year or two ago, they announced that like, oh, the game did die on Stadia, but it's coming to consoles. And a couple friends go, we gotta buy this and play this together. I sat there and I went, this game's gonna die, isn't it? Like it's not gonna last long like the Stadia version, even with all this revamping they did. And I think the servers are actually shutting down in about less than 2 weeks from now. I'm not even kidding. So
Well,
yeah, again, I reiterate, Pac-Man's name doesn't really carry him as far as it used to. Like
yeah.
the games have to be good if they're gonna do good because it I think Bandai looks at it and goes, yeah, it's Pac-Man. People will pick that up. No, we're not dumb. We have research now. If a game isn't gonna be good, we kind of hold back and go, we're not spending money on that. We're gonna go spend it on something else because without getting into it, games are expensive. So we're not gonna drop money on a game that we think is gonna die within a very short period of time.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
yeah, it's one of those. I mean, Sonic and Mario are both super iconic as well, but
Oh
the big
yeah.
thing is, of course, throughout the years, they
If they need like
they
proper names for
yeah, they
themselves.
have they still have like games that have come
Uh,
out and utilizing of the IP, in
mhm.
a meaningful way, and there's like all the, you know, there's been a genuine effort both in terms of game development and advertisement from the publisher with those that, they're like people know who those characters are, and they're not the type of character that you have to kind of like, oh yeah, I remember them. Instead, it's like, oh yeah, Sonic or whatever, as opposed to, oh yeah, Pac-Man. Did they ever
Right.
get?
I mean, like I'm
Do they still do
like
stuff with them, or is he just kind of okay?
like people wonder that, right? Because it's like you see kids go to like school and they've got like all these supplies, and you've got like Mario backpacks and Sonic backpacks. You got all that. There's not Pac-Man. There's no
Yeah,
Pac-Man backpacks. Nobody has that stuff. Um, I feel like that alone should go without saying because like Nintendo, like long story short, they know what they're doing these days. They've got a pretty good hold on the gaming industry, whether people like it or not. And then, you got to give it the Sonic team, Sega, and even the people behind the movies. I feel like because of the movies, there's been this like quality of life resurgence with
yeah,
Sonic. And in very recent years, I knock on wood as a Sonic fan, um, they've been killing it. They've been killing it the last couple of times, doing really
yeah,
well. So like Mario and Sonic have these like statures now that like they stand really tall and high and like are strong IPs. And Pac-Man's kind of like, you look at the company Bandai Namco, Pac-Man could like flat out fail, like a game could die, but that company does really well in its own right for other various properties. So like I think aren't they behind like Elden Ring and some other stuff? Like they make their money to where like if Pac-Man flops, they're like, oh, that one didn't do so well. Let's try it again. Like they can afford to just flop because they're big
hey,
enough in the industry that like Pac-Man can flop, but they have all
yeah.
these other like areas. Like they have like a hold on anime
We've still
games.
got Dead or Alive. We're good.
Exactly. We got Dead or Alive. We got,
We have the
like I said,
Jiggly
Elden
fighter
Ring.
game. We're fine.
Yeah, we've got oh god, Tekken. Are they Tekken? Or am I wrong about that?
I think they are.
Yeah, they're Tekken. They've got Tekken. I should know this. Yeah, no, they're Tekken. They've
They got a
got
crap ton of
a
stuff.
ton of anime games that they always do adaptations of Dragon Ball, One Piece, My Hero. I'm sure they've got like original games. I want to say they've done stuff like chat. Don't get on me if I'm wrong about this, but I want to say they do like Code Vein, which I believe there's a sequel. They do like
Yeah,
a
I think
whole
that's
bunch of stuff.
yeah.
Oh, the Tales of series.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like I said, they have all these other things that like Pac-Man can have a battle royale game that was originally on Stadia, comes to consoles and flops. They can just look at it and go, huh, that died. So what's next? Like they can afford to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's with all the IPs, you think they could do like they could do a battle royale that would feature Pac-Man, but then all the other like characters that they have for like, of their billion IPs that they own, of
Mhm.
just like have those, and it's Pac-Man's can be near like the front, and then it would just be like Bandai Namco battle or whatever, and then
Yeah,
basically like Super Smash Brothers, but with Bandai Namco characters, and like their Mario would be Pac-Man, and then have
yeah.
someone else. Um,
They could easily have like a Bandai Namco versus Capcom game or something.
yeah, I mean that's one of the they could but it's one of those they really don't they they put no brain power behind
They
trying
don't,
to
and
like
unfortunately, they had Pac-Man 99 that was like Nintendo exclusive, like for the Switch, and that was like a decent game. I'm not gonna call it the best thing ever, but like they had Pac-Man 99, not as good as like Tetris 99 or
mhm.
Mario 35, and it was going pretty okay. And then they decided to close it and finish that game to advertise the Pac-Man Battle Royale game. Like, no, don't worry about this one anymore. We're done with that. We're gonna do Pac-Man Battle Royale. Then that game just flat out dies, and everybody who liked Pac-Man 99 is kind of sitting there like, it died for this. It's like, man,
uh okay, so next question is what is your favorite non-curse word?
favorite non-curse. Okay, well, this is an easy one, especially for anybody who knows me. So two things. One, I actually don't curse, believe it or not. I don't mind if people curse, but I'm actually pretty good about not cursing. Why are you looking at me like that? You gave me a look. Yeah. Tried to
GK,
do
is
some.
he lying?
Virgil says, "GK, is he lying, honey?"
Yeah.
Virgil said, "GK, is he lying?"
Oh, he's tot lying.
What?
He's lying.
I'm lying?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What are you? Yeah, okay, lying about what?
Swearing.
Okay, you were paying attention. That's not even true.
Oh, you're like, oh, you were paying attention. Of course I was.
I was testing you.
Second of all, yeah, you do.
What have I said?
Sometimes you let a little one slip out here and there.
Like what?
I don't know. Sometimes you say "damn" or other things.
I do not.
You do.
I do
Why
not.
are you so offended by saying?
I'm not
what you
offended. I don't say that.
say?
When have I ever said
You
that?
say.
Bull crap.
Okay.
Chad, clip it.
My God.
He's really upset.
I am, because you're making me look like a liar.
I'm really not trying to.
I know, but I've never said that before.
Okay, if you say so, sir. I'm not here to mess up your reputation.
What?
You are very squeaky clean, and you have never said a bad thing ever.
I mean, I probably have at one point.
No, you have. You absolutely have.
Yeah.
You've got some cursed montages of speech for sure.
Nah, yeah, maybe. Anyways, my favorite non-curse word is the
Frick.
replace. What?
Frick.
Yes, frick.
It's always frick.
The replacement for the F-bomb. Yeah,
Always frick.
I'm a bad habit of saying frick.
He's got the white boy swearing.
I'm actually gonna curdle the milk. Yeah, Deku chat. They want me to say the F-bomb so badly. I've never done it yet. Never done it yet. One of these days, somebody will make me mad enough.
It'll probably.
Or
Possibly.
play something spoopy enough that just like, oh crap.
Yeah, just scare me out of my wits.
We got Zach and GK argument caught live in 4K.
A little bit of a scuffle there. Let me tell you something real quick though. If she's right and I'm wrong, then she is right. If I'm right and she's wrong, then she's right. That's how that goes. I'm never right, no matter what.
Let's see. Deku is saying time to be the villain of Z's story to make him mad.
Oh no, character development. I'm not ready.
Going through the villain arc. Okay, what is your least favorite word?
Ooh, least favorite word. Oh gosh, that's a good question.
Uh-huh.
Least favorite word.
Whoever says that.
Hmm.
We would be
I'm trying to think what that is. That is a good question. I can't. Okay, I'm gonna throw out like an answer. I can't stand it if somebody like if they do this without being unironic. I can't stand it when somebody like legitimately uses poggers as like a way to speak. Like they'll go poggers. Like you actually say that as like in your sentence with like your full heart. I'm actually like going to strangle you. I can't stand it. I don't mind if somebody says like pog to be funny. If you say pog out loud, I'm just kind of like okay. But it's when you say the full shebang, like poggers. Like I'm gonna get you.
It has to be like at least somewhat ironic for you to
Yeah, yeah. It has to be somewhat ironic.
be like
Like
helpful.
yeah, like if I go like down an insane route or something like that, like I'm just trying to be funny with somebody. I'll go, "Yo, Pog!" Like I'll say it like that to be like to sound annoying on purpose because that'll be my bit. But like you'll never hear me say that like legitimately because like oh my god, I don't know if I hate the word. I think I hate at that point the person using it.
You hate
Ah,
unironic use of the
yeah,
word poggers.
or like
Okay.
yeah, or like I can't stand it when somebody like goes out of their way and like just like very quietly goes lol. Like you're not laughing at that point, you're just saying like letters out loud. Like that's not even like you're not even really laughing. You got this like plain expression going lol. Are you really laughing out loud or are you just saying that just to fill in the blank?
Pop Tart saying I used to say woot ironically until I did it too much and it made its way into my lexicon.
I like the word woot actually. That's fun.
That is always the thing about like doing things ironically. You have to be careful because it's like it gets to the point where it's like, wait a minute, am I doing this to be ironic, or
Oh,
am I doing it unironic, or have I done so long I don't know if I'm doing it unironically now. What am
right. No,
I?
I feel that because there was a word I couldn't stand at one point that when people used it, I'm like, that's annoying when you say that or like use this word. And now I say it all the time, which I'm very self-conscious of. And that's the word bro. I can never stand it when somebody goes, bro, bro, bro. It's like, man, why do you guys say that? It's so annoying. And now if I'm hanging out with anybody, I'll go, bro, ain't no way. I'm just like, oh crap, now I say it these days. I used to never say it. And now I do. I'm like, oh crap, I've become the very thing I couldn't stand. I've become that guy. I couldn't stand it growing up. Like only the last like I'm not even kidding, the last like, year ish. I've been saying it more than ever. Like, oh, I used to never say that word. I used to hate it when somebody says that.
If you don't die a hero, you'd live to see yourself become the villain.
So true. So true.
uh, all right. Now, what is your favorite curse word?
Ooh, somebody who doesn't really swear that much apparently. Um, Let me think. Favorite swear. Hmm. That's a good question. That's a really good question. Hmm. That's a good question. I don't know. Coming from someone who doesn't use them, I'm trying to think like which one can I enjoy? Because like I don't mind the F bomb when people use it. I feel like it always depends on how somebody uses language because it could be done funny or it could be done like serious. Like if somebody says like the F bomb like casually, it's kind of like okay, like you're just being vulgar. If somebody says the F bomb like is yelling at you, then it hurts. And then if somebody says like I don't know, like the F bomb to be funny, then it's funny. But I'm trying to think of like the most universal word that like no matter when I hear it, I'm just like, oh, maybe I think it's funny or I like it.
Fluffernutter.
Uh, there you go. I almost said bless you. Um, Let me think. I guess like anytime I hear this word, I tend to like at least laugh, if not out loud in my head. Um, just because of how powerful it is, but maybe the CUNT word.
Oh,
You can. You just have to have enough.
Like I don't know why, but like it could be a serious situation or something. But like anytime anyone pulls up that word, I'm like, oh my god, like you're like, hold on now.
you just go. You give
Like,
a tee hee.
yeah, like it can even be a serious situation, but like when somebody pulls up that word, like that's when you're like, oh crap, like that's like a serious, like you're really laying into somebody at that point. So like I sometimes will laugh at that one, no matter what, no matter what the context. It's a really strong, terrible word, but it's kind of funny.
Although I swear I've heard it used so much more times in terms of like almost like endearing at this point.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it's like, oh, they're serving,
yeah. Like I've heard that one so much. Yeah. Oh yeah, they're serving. I'm like, okay, now it's just like
dude, there was a
at that,
Hololive member who was doing that. It's like, oh, she's surfing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And at that point, it's like not only is it funny, but it's almost like a compliment to be
We've
using.
we've now wait, did this word just get gentrified? What's going on?
Apparently, it's evolving. Chat.
I remember because it was like, I mean, because it was just like a few years ago, whereas like, because there was like what is it? There was that uh the Harley Quinn and Ivy like series,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it was on
yeah,
it, and like like you had like one character's who the whole thing was like he got in trouble and none of the villains want to hang out with him because he used the C word like on
oh
television or
yeah.
whatever, and that was the big thing. And now it's like 2 years later,
That's so
I was just
funny.
like
Remember-
Hollow Live member going, she's surfing.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's just there's something like it's vulgar, but it's almost like now it's like, kind of pulled like a bit of an elegant like kind of vibe behind it. There's so many different ways to go about it, I guess.
I'm kind of wondering if part of that is just more of like things becoming so much more like maybe a little bit more people's taste being a little bit more like international in some stuff because
Yeah.
in I mean it's pretty much outside of America. I mean, so like especially in the UK, it's
Yeah.
like that word is like not it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah,
So it's
like for
kind of
them it's like kind of a casual thing to say. We're like over here, we're like, oh my.
yeah. I mean, man, I have a clip of because I was playing. There's the game that the cyberpunk bartending game Valhalla, and there's like that word comes up as like something, but I've been reading all the dialogue, so I was going like I had this moment of oh, um, because apparently they were talking about like someone had vandalized so and so as a c word, so I was like, um. I think a couple times, one I kept on like going like I'm not British enough to be able to say that word, or and then there's like another going of like a continuing source of inspiration.
Yeah.
So, you know, uh, but yeah, that's it's an interesting one.
It sure is.
Um, uh, uh, and then okay, so then next question would be, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Ooh. Question of your own that you would like to attempt. I think I've actually gotten to a point in my life now because I've like branded my VTuber stuff this way, but I actually wouldn't mind taking a shot at the theming behind my streaming, which is like movie theater cinema. I think it'd be really fun to like open up like a classic theater that just plays older movies
Mm.
and like run it the way you want to run it and have like special rooms and design them. I think that'd be like really fun to like actually own like a theater.
Oh yeah, like an old school style, and just like show like old films or just like or
Yeah.
not just or even not necessarily like old, but also like just kind of like stuff that's like smaller films or stuff like that that you could manage to get.
Yeah, like it'd be specifically like older films, not like, oh, here comes like the new whatever movie that just came out. Like it'd be specifically like you go to the theater because you want like a nostalgic hotspot. I'd make sure like there's like neon lights and things that really resemble the past, and let
Manos
people like RSVP like a really
Man
nostalgic looking room.
show Manos Hands of Fate.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone got that reference, please?
I also like. I think it'd be really fun to have like like if somebody goes to reserve like a theater room for their friends or something like that. Like there was specifically is one that's designed to look like a inside of a blockbuster or
Mm,
something like that. Like that'd be like a lot of fun to have like themed rooms and whatnot. Of course, I've had these thoughts, in passing every now and then. But I'm like, I can only imagine the budgeting, how to make that work, would
oh
it
yeah.
live, that kind of thing. But like it'd be like a fun passion project though.
Niche film that would be better in a theater than on television. I mean, one thing that kind of gets both in like watching on thing as far as it's like people have got there's very much like an experience and culture, an experience around watching, um, but Rocky Horror Picture Show. There's very much like a tradition and culture about like seeing that in person, and because people go and dress up, and that there's specific things that people do during like certain scenes.
Yeah.
So, see, Pop Tart saying, I want to watch The Wizard of Oz in theater and not the Dome. Mm.
Oh God, the dome. I actually had the pleasure of watching The Wizard of Oz in theaters a couple years ago, and funnily enough, when doing so, when I got out of the movie, I had seen an old manager of mine, and I was like at like a Cold Stone. And I was like, "Hi, what are you doing here? Like, are you just kind of like shopping around and whatnot?" They were, but apparently they're like, "Oh, we work like a lot of people who worked at one of my previous jobs. They all worked at like the store across the street. They're like, "Are you looking for a job?" And I think for like the next 2 or 3 weeks, I was like, "Nah, I'm not really looking for a job. I'm already working somewhere."
Mm.
Then I ended up quitting that job, contacted them, and I was just like, "So are you guys still hiring?" And I would have never had that opportunity if I hadn't gone and seen The Wizard of Oz that day.
Mm.
I always thought that was funny.
Which interesting little factoid. I learned about this online and I didn't notice it, but I'm kind of like, huh, that's something. So, but remember there was in the 2000s there was the adaptation of War of the Worlds with like Tom Cruise and then young Dakota Fanning,
Yeah, yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So there's this scene where where he leaves the house and it like opens up into like what the aliens are like trying to terraform stuff or whatever, and it's like all these things. So I came across on the Twitter of like someone was doing when these film things, and they showed like side by side of because it was actually pretty much like a mirror of like the scene of Dorothy when she first leaves her house and goes into Wonderland, or not Wonderland, into Oz, and it's out in like in the Munchkin village. That it's that exact opening the door and like looking around and seeing this like otherworldly terrain and stuff like that. It's like an exact like kind of mirror image of in terms of like how the camera pans and works and stuff like that. When those really
Yeah.
like interesting things. So there we go. There's your little there is it was mentioned. So there we go. You have your little spooky movie or horror movie adjacent little factoid for the night. I never noticed
Yeah.
that, but that is very neat.
Ooh, actually, if I could like perfect the movie theater idea I had, I think it'd be really cool if like you somehow like you have the theater and you have all the rooms and movie hotspots you want inside the building, but then like to the side of the building, you set up like its own designated area to be like a drive-in movie, and like maybe you'll have like one or two options, and then people can decide if they want to have like a drive-in movie or if they want to have like an actual inside the theater movie. So you can pick between the two going to this place. That'd be fun.
Ah, yes, the Wizard of Wonderland. Yes, thank you, Deku, for. Um, hold up, chat. He's cooking. Let's see. Fun fact: the sepia tone of Dorothy's back when she opened the door was a stand-in for Judy Garland.
Well, fun fact of the day.
It is neat. Okay. So next question this goes into to movies or whatever works well. So, but if you had $100 million to make a movie, what would it be?
Ooh, to make a movie? Oh my god. That's a really good question. $100 million. It's quite the budget. Hmm. That's a really good question. Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if it's because of the specific amount of money, or I don't know. I guess I'd never really thought about like if I could have like if I could make a movie of any kind, what would I pick?
So okay, so I can give you like my answer as just maybe like an example that might help get the
Yeah.
juices flowing. So, but if I had, so I would want an animated adaptation of the the fairy tale written in the 19th century by the author George MacDonald, The Princess and the Goblin.
Ooh, okay.
An animated adaptation of that done by Kyoto Animation.
Ooh, okay.
So,
Gosh, I feel like your answer's super fun. It's like well thought out. I'm probably just gonna shoot something out there. Hmm. I guess if budget called for it and it was done well enough, it'd be kind of fun to like have some kind of like spooky horror movie where somehow somebody brings to life like a whole bunch of like iconic horror characters, but they're all like in one movie. So like the threat is pretty much everybody who's ever been a threat in those movies. So you have like a bunch of iconic characters, kind of like a big old crossover, and they've got to find out a way to like stop it because it's just this giant threat. I'd want it to take place in a time period too, if I could help it. So like maybe date it by like making it like a fun like 80s or 90s movie. So like the everyone would have to wear things like of that era. You'd have to cap off the movies of that era too, so you can have anything like modern.
right.
Um, maybe like fun to like. I always thought it'd be fun to like film a movie that is like an era piece. Like it's like oh this film takes place in the
Right.
1940s, but it's done today. Like I always thought that was fun. So
Mm.
it actually like just another like I'll give a secondary simple answer, but I wouldn't mind filming like something that's like maybe like a 1940s movie. So you have to have like the cars, the aesthetic, and everything of that time, but make it like a murder mystery kind of movie, kind of like LA Noir, but like in movie form in a way. That'd be kind of fun.
Okay, and then okay, so next question that may or may not inspire another argument. Look at
Oh
live on
sure.
stream.
Oh no.
Who who is your waifu and or husbando?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Hmm. Oh my god, sit. The question was for me before Z can claim it, man. That you can have that Omega. That is yours. Um. Hmm. Let me think about that. Hmm.
Should we ask GK? And she'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's
I don't know if she'd have one. That like no one for me or whatever. I got like the look. Um, gosh, I'm trying to think.
She does know.
Possibly. I guess if like I could just throw one out there, like just for funsies or whatever. I think I don't know. God, maybe Vanilla the Rabbit. A little bit.
Okay, oh wait, Omega's saying, honestly, I have an idea for a waifu for Z.
You have an idea for me? Am I being hooked up? Nico Robin, no. She's not my favorite of the bunch. No, she is not my type. I'm gonna be so real with you, Omega. Can I be honest? Like, I actually find her to be one of my least favorite of the crew. If I'm being honest. She's not bad. She's just like she's kind of boring to me. Never mind that. I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
I think Omega just took offense.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. More for me. You listen here, you. God dang it. Um. Yeah, if not her, then maybe like really good question. No, I really don't know if I have anything beyond that. I'm actually not the type to be like to have a bunch of those, if I'm being honest. Not that that's bad if anybody does. I'm not one to like usually go like, oh yeah, they'd be, waifu or whatever. Like, I don't know. Not really my area.
Mm. You have the real thing, so there you go. Yeah.
I think that's what kind of does it for me is like I'm not even kidding. Like I think like if I didn't have anybody like a good couple years back, then I probably had more of a list. But like the second I actually have somebody, I'm just like I'm fine. Thank you though. You all can have those. Uh,
Uh, let's see. Okay. Uh, moving on to more streaming questions. So, what inspired you to get into streaming?
ooh, that's a really good question. So what got me into streaming? So I had a bit of a history with doing like commentary and whatnot. I started off doing like let's plays for YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and I had that background of like just recording gameplay, recording my audio, putting it together, editing it, and then just plastering it up on YouTube. And I did that for about 10 years before I became a streamer. I started when I was like 16, and I got pretty good at it at one point, and I always thought it was fun to just like give my takes on video games, show whatever skills I had, show what skills I didn't have if it was like a new game. I always thought that was fun. And years later, I got to a point where I was like, I'm tired of editing because you do that for 10 plus something years for these videos. You're like, I'm kind of tired of editing. And then VTubing started to become popular, and I was like, most people who do VTubing typically are streamers. And I was like, maybe I should give this like streaming thing a try and become a VTuber.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be less editing for me because I could just like be live and do the thing and people can just watch it. It's pretty simple and straightforward. And there was like two people at that point in time that like VTubing was so new, but I was like watching them and like seeing them do that. I was like, you could be a cartoon character, or like you could be an anime character. That's so cool. It was so new. And my answer is going to sound very basic when I say this, but starting out, I'd seen at the time a user called Iron Mouse, and at that point in time,
Mm-hmm.
they weren't like they were big, but they weren't that big. Like to the point, like I could type something in their chat and it'd appear fairly okay, and I was like, that's neat. And then I was like, I should get into this, and then I did a couple months of research and looking things up and trying to get a model. And by the time I did get any of that, she like took off like big
Mm.
time. Um, but that's okay, that's all good and whatnot. And I was like, okay, let me go ahead and throw my 2 cents out there. And I had my Sonic OC as like my mascot for like a decade and stuff at that point. I was like, oh, I had like little to no thought being put into a model. I was like, yeah, my guy right here, the one I've been using this whole time. I didn't do no debut, didn't have like no build up. I kind of just jumped in like, hey guys, I'm a streamer now. Look at my model, and just converted over. Um, and I've had my VTuber inspirations throughout the years and whatnot. Specifically, there was this one Twitch channel. They went by Digilily,
Mm-hmm.
and they had their friend Evan, and they would be like this cooperative, like commentary team where they were going through all the Sonic games before I think Sonic Frontiers released. And I really like I don't really have I didn't up that point didn't have a whole lot of people I looked up to, but I really looked up to their work. I'm like, wow, they do a really good job. They're funny, they're informative. I want to be like that. And at some point they had gotten an Xbox Series X to showcase Unleashed because at that point in time there was no like free comp or anything. So they were like wanting to do Sonic Unleashed on the Xbox Series X because that's how you can get that game in 60 FPS. And they were like gearing up the showcase that. I'm like, yeah, I'm excited. The next stream, they kind of just fell off the face of the planet and stopped making stuff. And then I couldn't tell you why. I found out a little bit later, like a year later, that like, yeah, they were okay. They're like, sorry guys, I've been busy about life and whatnot, blah blah blah. And I've not heard anything since then. So I've not really had that like I look up to inspiration anymore. But like they were definitely like what got me like going and inspired to like start myself and go in the direction I've gone in. And since then, I've like not only like made friends, but I've had other like Twitch streamers that I've like looked up to now. Are like, oh, I really love how you do this and that, and but I've never had like the definitive like the one person who like I look up to anymore. But I have people who do inspire me. Don't get me wrong. But like at that point in time when VTubing was new, they inspired me. They were the duo that I would like go back and like watch and listen to all the VODs and whatnot while I was at work because I just loved everything they did.
Okay, well that actually
It's,
does.
it's just,
Oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
I was just saying real quick. Like, it's a darn shame when like somebody you love watching just kind of finishes up like suddenly like no, I don't know. It's just it's
Yeah,
sad.
nah, I feel that. I understand that. Or they just kind of like drop off the face of the earth, and you're like, wait, where'd your stuff go? Now what will I
Don't
watch?
leave us.
Now what will I watch while I eat?
True. The true struggle, chat, is finding something to watch while you eat. If I can't find it, I can't eat.
10 minutes later, you still have your food and you haven't touched it. You're like, just like, come on. Has one of my people like released a new thing? This person? When was their last video? What happened? Okay, but that actually did I do actually have a future question of what's your biggest inspiration for it, what you do, so you kind of ended up answering that as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so which is fine, it's fine. Um, let's see. Sometimes it works out that way that like people answer others and with some of these questions in the before I ask them with other questions. Um, okay, so we got to do one last ad break.
Mhm.
I've got a few more questions, like just basically of like streaming questions. So if uh if anyone has any questions that they want to ask, please put those in chat so we can make sure to get them before we end the interview. So
Yeah.
I want to make sure everyone gets the chance to get their questions answered. So please do that while we are running the ad break. So,
Yeah, we'll definitely take some questions.
but we'll be right back in 3 minutes. All right. So welcome back, everyone. Um. So, all right. So back. So we're gonna do our last round of questions. Uh. So. How long have you been streaming?
So I've been streaming for a little over 4 years now.
Okay.
As of late March of next year, it'll be 5.
Mm-hmm.
I did my first year streaming on YouTube. As I had told you before, I did a Let's Play
Right.
on YouTube. I just stayed there for a year, and then I made the decision to jump over to Twitch because YouTube just wasn't quite hitting the marks for me when it came to the streaming department.
Mm.
And I've seen in recent times people try to do the whole YouTube Twitch stream at the same time thing, which I totally understand. But with the community I had and the growth I was having over there, it became stressful at some point because I say this in the sweetest way possible. YouTube's full of a lot of kids, and having to deal with that and chat was kind of just too much for me. So I was like, nah, I'm gonna go over to Twitch. Twitch does have the occasional kids that pop through, but it's not nearly as abundant as YouTube.
Right.
So I was like,
Um.
I'm gonna go over to Twitch, and they have like all the animated emotes and all the other stuff. Where like YouTube's still playing catch up on that.
Yeah. I've where it's still kind of an issue as far as they really need to um bump up on getting kind of at least a lot of equivalents in just terms of like features for live streaming. Uh,
Excuse me.
uh, which I hope they do because then that just means that's more like definite competition. Um, as far as like much more of a comparable like service that's having like similar thing. Which that just means that Twitch would have to step up to make sure like
Yeah, like
they
competition would like
yeah.
push more for each side, whereas like if they're not doing anything, Twitch has more of a handle on it.
Yeah, right now it's kind of like we don't really have to do a whole lot in terms of like competition. So even when we bungle up a lot of things, we're like, "Hey, we're the game in town. What, you going to go to
Right.
YouTube?" They don't have redeems and all this third-party stuff that's easier to do. What you going to do?
I think that's what I loved about Twitch actually when I moved over was like I showed up and I'm like, all right, let's see what Twitch is all about. And there were so many options. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. There was
Yeah.
redeems, there was this, there's that. I was like, oh, there's just so much potential. And I know they're not perfect, they have their fair share of issues, but speaking as somebody who did YouTube for 10 plus years, I very much prefer it.
Hmm. Uh okay. And then so what let's see. You kind of mentioned about what inspired your design and theming already. Um, then, so what have you enjoyed most about streaming?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I'm probably gonna have a very cheesy answer slash answers. But I've really enjoyed the friendships I've made through being a streamer. Um, Funnily enough, if I hadn't become a streamer, again, I wouldn't have the relationship that I do. Um, and that's always been a nice factor. It's always meant a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's given me more ways to enjoy video games. So
Mm-hmm.
like when I go to like when I did Let's Plays back then, I would record a game, do a couple of episodes, edit, upload, get feedback, and then interpret that feedback in my next couple of videos. Whereas like when I'm live, I could be stuck on a game and I'm like, oh, I need help on this, and somebody could like, oh, I know what to do, I can help you out. Or you could you're doing something live and everyone's experiencing that amazing moment with you, when it happens. There's just so much like more like potential with live streaming because everything's on the fly. Like I said, there's like redeems and this and that. So like I feel like that's always like added to like I'll be playing like a game and all of a sudden somebody redeems something funny and I start laughing because like oh that came out of nowhere when the serious scene happened and like there's it just adds like so much more flavor to like the fun you would have already had playing a game on your own time. Um, there's just like a many things that I really enjoy about being a streamer. extra note, the VTuber aspect. Who doesn't want to be like a character they made on the screen, just kind of moving around and talking and getting to represent that?
Mm.
You could easily do like webcam and show your IRL stuff. Some people are comfortable with that, some people aren't. Totally understandable. But there's something about like I don't mind showing myself IRL for say, but like why would I want to do that when I could be like I don't know like a cartoon character? I just think that's really fun in its own right.
Mm.
It's just really cool. You get to like mess with your overlays and editing. I funnily enough, I was telling you earlier how I was so done with editing. I want to be a live streamer. Now that I've been doing streaming for like 4+ years now, I'm in that ballpark of like I kind of want to edit clips now because clips are very popular for people to try to like do. And even though I don't have like all the time in the world to make clips, like now I have that like so many years of experience just editing that like occasionally uploading a clip or two feels like it itches that scratch of like what I used to do back then. Like, oh, I'll upload like a short little video and like that's fun. So
Mm.
there's a lot of fun to be had being a streamer. But I had to say like the one answer, like what was my favorite thing about becoming a streamer? It's definitely like the friendships I've made. I've made a lot of really awesome
Mm.
friendships, and so much so I would go to like conventions or I've had meetups with like friends, and we go out and have a fun time. Like there's something magical about that.
Mm. Uh, yeah, I actually get that answer a lot as far as like relationships and meeting people and stuff like that is like the favorite as far as enjoyed most. Um, uh, okay. Um, what have you streamed that has had the most psychological or emotional impact on you?
Ooh, like one that really just hit home. Um, gosh, I'm gonna name one that.
Bubsy 3D.
But absolutely, absolutely. Which stream? The one I did in 2021 or the one I did a month ago? No, I'm kidding. Um, no, but so this is one that like I'm gonna say it, and this was so when I like long story short, when I came from YouTube to Twitch, fun fact of the day, when you have previous YouTube success, some people will come and be like, "Yo, I'll watch you on Twitch now if you're moving over," and not everybody does. Some people go, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not about Twitch. I'm staying here." So, and I'll get the famous comment, "Are you ever going to come back to YouTube and do YouTube again?" Like I've had that asked a lot, right? Since then, I kind of ignore it just because again, I've made my commitment to Twitch. And I upload my VODs to YouTube, so like I'm trying to put everything out there as best I can. Anyways, but as I was growing on like Twitch, I've come to realize in recent that my niche is platformers.
Mm-hmm.
The algorithm really likes it when I play like Mario, Sonic, etc. The second I play anything that is like a spooky game or like a serious like we'll say like a AAA PlayStation game that's like more realistic looking, people like I will have regular show up to the streams and that's great. But sometimes certain games are just preferred. And at this point in time, this was maybe I want to say 2 years ago, 2 or 3, but I want to say it was maybe 2. Time is flying by. Oh my god. Um, but there was a stream series I did on God of War Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just gotten my human model, which was like the newest character I had. I always had my Sonic OC, but I ended up rebranding my name to Zack and Sonic and putting a human version of myself on screen. And he only had a couple of games under his belt at that point in time. But I remember playing God of War Ragnarok. I really enjoyed like all the other God of War games, but that game from start to finish was like the most emotional whiplash I've ever had before in my life. Like I'm not afraid to admit this either, but like I remember the first, not even first 10 minutes of that game. First 10 minutes actually had me crying. It hit you so hard so fast, and I was like, oh my god. And then by the end of the game, and the credits rolled, the only words that would really come out of my mouth at that point in time was 10 out of 10. That was a perfect game. I didn't have a single problem with it. Any like issues I had with the previous game got fixed in that game. Cinematic masterpiece. It was fantastic.
Mm.
And I'm gonna say that it's gonna make me sound like the biggest Sony fan. I really enjoyed that game. I'm not the biggest fan of the PS5, sadly, because like even though they have a good couple of games on there, Sony's just kind of sitting on that system half the time if I'm being
Mm.
so real. But it was an emotional journey. It was super emotional, and there's not many games that I've had on stream that actually like drove me to tears. But like when you hit me in the first 10 minutes, I feel like
Mm.
that says a lot. And then by the end of it, you're sitting there with goosebumps, like, oh my god, what a perfect game. I'd say the latest feeling I've ever got like that in recent times, not tears, but like feeling that good.
Mm.
Donkey Kong Bonanza, super good game. Yeah, I'd say God of War Ragnarok, just because it just
Mm.
something about that game hit home with me at that point in time.
Yeah. Although
Keep in mind, most of the time I'm playing like goofy games, so nothing
Yeah.
ever tries to that like emotional point. I'm playing something goober half the time. So
right. Uh, I mean, although speaking of, yeah, Sony does know how to sit on things like Death Stranding 2, which I still haven't heard anything about when it's getting ported to PC.
oh yeah, Death Stranding 2. Oh god, has it not had anything of that since, like news wise for PC?
I still haven't heard anything news. Is there anything of, let's see,
Weird.
let's Google. Well, it's there. Let me be disappointed. Death
I feel
Stranding.
like Sony's pretty good about that over time. They'll be like, oh, here comes the PC port of Spider-Man or whatever. But no news on Death Stranding 2. It's been out a decent amount of time to my knowledge.
Yeah, it came out in June.
Oh, okay. So, well, let's see. That's what, 4 months? Fair enough. Maybe something will come of it soon.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yep. Still no news.
Still no news.
Why do you do this to me, Kojima and Sony? Why?
Kojima. Why?
Death Stranding, you mean Sam's favorite game series? She's not here to see.
Probably does not like it from what it sounds. That's funny. I've heard people tell me about it, like, oh, it's not the greatest thing ever. You have to walk around a lot, blah blah blah. I mean, it sounds like a game that it's not for everybody, but
Yeah,
if you like it, it hits home.
yeah. It's a game. It's one of my favorite games, and I'd say it's an amazing game, but it's definitely just not for everyone.
Right. I'm kind of that one guy who like I've not played it myself, but I'm always amused by like certain things of that game, like in passing. So like I remember when it was getting advertised originally. I'm that one single brain cell guy who like you're watching the trailer and you're like, everyone's talking about what's actually going on in the story. I sit there and I'm like, is it a Monster can? Monster advertisement. Woo, look at that. Like I don't even drink Monster, but I think it's funny to like see product placement in a game like that. Like I just something about that just amuses me. Like, you're playing a very serious game. You're like, is that a Coke can?
Yeah,
I don't
I
know. I'm simple.
see. I don't. Have you seen my scuff model? Because I have
I don't think I
my
have. I would
alternate.
love to see
Okay, let
that.
me. Because it has a Death Stranding toggle.
Oh, it's lovely.
Okay, hold on. Let me. So there's vanilla of my form, and then I have here's my Death Stranding toggle, where I have the little bridge baby pod,
I
but
love that.
instead of a
How
fetus, it's a dragon scale goldfish.
I love that so much. We love Norman Reedus and the Funky
Yes.
Fetus. That's so cool.
Yeah. It's one of those. So it's one of those thing where it's kind of like this is a weird comparison, but it's kind of a way of if you're okay with the idea of like a game like Stardew Valley, where 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 the main gameplay loop isn't about combat. It's about like this. It's about like um. So then you might enjoy Death Stranding, if you fundamentally don't like the idea of that, and you like I need to fight something, I need to whatever, then you're not gonna like Death Stranding. That's kind of so if you're
I feel like
okay.
that checks out.
Yeah, if you're okay with different, like, I mean, there is like some combat in like Death Stranding, but you don't play Death Stranding for the combat. You more of, it's very much your opponent is the terrain you're traversing. You know, so like there's eventually like at one point in the game you'll be like transporting little literal rocks up a mountain in a blizzard. If you go to that and think maybe hell yeah, I'm about to deliver the hell out of those rocks. You know, if you're going to that, then yeah, Death Stranding.
Yeah.
If not, you're like that sounds like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. This is stupid.
It's
Why would anyone enjoy
it's
this?
yeah, I was gonna. It's funny if you tell it like any other normal person in passing, they'd be like, "That sounds boring or terrible." But like if you know your video games well enough, like I can see the fun factor in
Yeah.
that. You're
If
playing it for that or probably the narrative, if I had
yeah.
to guess.
Yeah, it's like both of those, like for the narrative, and then it is very much it is the most Hideo Kojima of the Kojima games.
Absolutely. I'm
When
glad he's going out there and
yeah,
like doing what he wants, and he's like evolving his brand a lot more
yeah,
after all that was said and done. So good for him, honestly.
bro divorced from Konami, and he's like, I'm gonna do all the
I'm gonna
weird,
do my own thing.
I'm gonna do all the weird shit I never had that Konami wouldn't let me
True.
do.
In a way, I think it was a blessing because it's kind of like I don't think he quite realized the shackles he had on him. And then,
Yeah,
like, once he was broken free, like, all right, you're free to go. He's kind of like, oh, shoot, I can go do my own thing. Sure. And then he really ran with it.
yeah,
I commend him for that. And I
it,
remember people like, there was this, like, no shade towards that Metal Gear Solid 3 remake because I heard it was like a fine enough game and whatnot. But it was funny because when they asked him, like, how do you feel about that game? He had some kind of response, but basically, like, the conversion for that was like, dude doesn't care about his ex-girlfriend. He's kind of off enjoying himself. I'm just like, yeah, good for you, Mr.
yeah. I
Kojima. Don't
remember
don't worry about
it's
that.
pretty much like I have nothing to do with the development. It's like he has no, he had like no opinion whatsoever. He's just like, I'm not involved with it, so I don't have
Exactly.
an
He's just like
opinion.
there was just this quote tweet that lived rent free in my head where he's like, I've got better things to do than obsessive for my ex, and it's like,
Yeah,
dang, Kojima.
just like I'm working on new stuff.
Yeah, I respect it. I respect it.
So it is one of those games. I mean, it comes out on sale quite a bit. The first one does these days, so then you can normally pick up for pretty inexpensive. So I'll go ahead and switch back unless you want me to stay in the
Yeah,
scuff.
I will leave it up to you. I like either or. The scuff is funny though.
Yeah. I actually did have the Majima toggle, okay, which you wouldn't have seen, so let me, okay. I have the Goro Majima from Yakuza toggle as well. Hold on. Ta-da. Kiryu-chan. So I can... So,
God, I love that. I have a friend who would love this model. Big fan of the Yakuza games. I plan to get into them eventually.
yeah. So, okay, I switched it. But, so yeah, okay, yes, and Omega did ask a question, okay.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, so, okay, I have a question. Apologies if this has been asked. But what was your most stressful moment of being a VTuber, and how did you overcome it? Which that is a
Ooh,
good question. No, that has not been asked. That's a very good question.
that is a good question. Um,
Thank you for asking that.
I would argue this could be a kind of a basic answer, but it happens more often than I'm proud to say. Um, but like especially like as you grow as a Twitch streamer, VTuber, whatever you are, you get more and more new people in your chat, and I think the hardest part for me is when somebody's like I don't want to say acting up in your chat, but they're being either a little much or they're being like a little annoying. You kind of sit there like, well, how do I go about this person? Because like I don't want to like tell them like straighten up or stop acting that way. Like I don't ever want to tell somebody what to do. But I've had some people in passing that I'm just like you're kind of annoying, but you're not really breaking a rule. And I'll like pass that through to my mods like, hey, how do you feel about this person? And one of the things I've been told a while back that I do agree with for the most part is like, you got to do what's good for your community and what's good for your chat. And if you have somebody in your chat like acting a certain way where like it kills the rest of like the flow or like the vibes of your stream,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they come back to multiple streams, they constantly do that. Sometimes I have the unfortunate decision of like having to pull the plug and going, yeah, we're getting rid of you as like somebody in my chat. Sorry, but you're just not a fit for the channel. I don't do that often because I try to give people like an absolute like honest to God chance because like not everyone's that bad. But the hard part is like having to make that decision because you don't want somebody to like go out of their way and like hate you or um stir up anything on like a social media like why'd you block me or anything like that. Like I don't ever like I don't want to hit that button. I don't like hitting that button. It's the last thing I want to do. The thing I want to do most is like have people come through and have a good time and feel like they're welcome and whatnot. But like I've had a very few times where I'm sitting there and I'm like I know somebody isn't like breaking the rules, but I'm just like you are like kind of getting on my nerves. I'm sitting there sweating like I kind of want to pull the plug on this person. And it's not like they deserve it necessarily, but I'm just like you're not being good in my chat per se. Like you're not being bad, but you're
Could
not being good.
could you dial it down down a little bit?
Right. And
Dial.
like I hate doing that because like I've done that like maybe once or twice in the past where like, can you like simmer down? And the second I do that is like when they start to like boil up and like, what do you mean simmer down? Like and then they show their true colors and I'm just like, oh, I didn't want to stir anything. But then at that point when you say something like that, they start to get like upset and it's like, okay, then it probably was a
Yeah.
good call.
I guess
But I don't
it's
even want to start that because it kills the stream for so many
yeah.
people. Like they'll be like, oh, I'm just gonna go now. This is awkward.
Yeah,
So
it's tricky. I mean, it is one of those like if someone does get like starts to get really defensive about it, then it's kind of like proving your point that you were like
yeah.
right to like that you were right to feel off about this person.
Yeah, because I've had times where somebody watches me, and then they'll go to like watch some of my other friends, and they'll be like, okay, this person's actually being annoying, or maybe they did break rules, and I go to like block them or ban them or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't even tell you. I'm not proud to say this, but I couldn't even tell you how many people have went to any of my other friends' as like Twitch channels and go, "Can you ask him to unblock me?" or like, "Why'd he
Oh,
block me?" or whatever.
oh my
And I'm like,
gosh.
you should not be going to another person's channel and asking about that. Like that's putting another streamer in that position. You're being a child about it. And if anything, again, that I feel like that just further proves my point of like who you are as a person, because you're having to go out of your way to ask somebody else and you're starting to get there. So it's like, are you really proving yourself to be a good individual when you're going out of your way making it bad for another person? Like you're dragging a friend of theirs down. Like I don't know about that. So I find that to be like the most stressful thing in being a VTuber or streamer. It's just having to like make that call because it people like you would think people think like, oh, you probably get a thrill out of that or like oh, you don't care. No, that is like the last thing I want to do. Like I don't want to make that call. That makes me sweat personally.
I feel like there probably are some streamers who do enjoy that. That like
Probably do. Oh,
that
yeah.
like enjoy the power trip of like yes, you
Yeah.
peasants, ban him,
The only time I
ban
ever
him.
enjoy that is like when you don't flat out the person is like there just to cause trouble. It is like I've had moments where like somebody comes to my chat and they're like first time chatter, they say something like terrible or mean, or they're trying to start something, and I will have like either a small handful of mods like be like, they get banned, and I'll have a friend message me like, oh, come on, I wanted to do it. I'm just like, I'm just glad they're gone. Like, but
Pop
I'll have
pop
like mods like fighting over like, oh, I wanted to call that shot.
Pop Tart is asking if you could unban them.
You know what? Just for you, absolutely, because you ask so nicely, and I love the name Pop Tart, and I enjoy Pop Tarts. You,
uh,
you get the fast pass, but anybody else, no.
yeah. Oh my, honestly, I hate that. Yeah, I I got I thankfully like um wait, Omega's asking, can we unban Pop Tart and then can I reban?
Omega, you can't just say that out loud. You got to take it to the DMs, bro. He's actually not always a good friend of mine, but he is like a mod on my end that mods a lot. So I'm just like, don't say that out loud.
Yeah,
We'll see it.
hi Jess.
Oh no, the Discord DM's leaked. We got to get out of here.
When the homies when the group DM leaks,
No, no.
get the bug out bag.
I feel like everybody's had that like at least one DM session. It's just like if this ever leaked, it's over.
Yes.
just something cursed.
What if those
That's
like
funny.
messages? Okay, for the I can explain. which you can't explain. One of those you just had to be there, and then I swear it doesn't look as bad as it is type moments.
I feel like I'm at that point in my life. Like if I got caught on my BS, doesn't matter what, just anything, I would have to look at them in the eye and go, okay, it's exactly what you think it is. Like I'm not even gonna try to cover it up. Like, yep, I've been caught.
It's like,
Guilty as
okay,
charged.
I'll just okay, I'll ready up my apology ukulele. Excuse me.
Excuse me here.
Okay, cue the live button.
Yeah.
Uh,
But to bring it back to like a slight positive note, like even though I say like that's like the part that I hate doing or like is like a negative thing, more than anything, I want to make people happy and give them like a place that makes them feel comfortable and like they can like chat it up, talk about like their favorite video games or whatever they're doing at that point in time. Just nice, chill, warm environment, and that's why like my answer was so like in that direction because like that's the last thing I ever want to have to encounter when I'm streaming.
yeah.
Just very stressful.
Thankfully, I haven't had like a lot of that. Um, Normally I just have to deal with. I just having to add like people soliciting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I specifically have a rule like that I have to add in no soliciting. Just don't. I will ban you. It's like
No, I feel
I
that.
am very loose on pretty much my rules, except like that is the one that I've gotten like. It's at the point where I would prefer you bring up politics and religion. I don't want me to
Oh
sell
yeah,
their stupid.
we got that bad.
Listen,
We've hit that mark.
it's like as long as I don't have, as long as it's someone like not bringing up if I want to,
Right.
if I would commission them or not. It's like, oh, they just they
I
just
haven't
want.
had one of those in a while, but I remember getting one like a couple of years ago. Like you'll get somebody who comes into your chat like, oh, nice stream. Well, thank you. I'm a graphics designer. If you're interested in that, I'm like, no.
You're like waiting for the thing, and it's like at first they're acting like just really nice and like and just being like a nice active chatter, and then it's like you're like waiting for the thing. I remember the last time around that, and I was kind of like, I was like, wait a minute, this person's being an active chatter, an active first time chatter. They're about to ask me for something, aren't they?
No.
Where I
Oh no,
feel
the infamous. I've got a question. Like, no. Why do you do that?
it's like, no, I thought what we had was special. It's like, it's seriously that episode of SpongeBob. It feels like someone's trying to sell me something.
I told you he was onto us.
Uh, Seriously, it's people asking for commissions is the internet's version of like door to door Jehovah's Witnesses. Now I swear, there was
True, it's like
like
the
the
online variant.
yeah, it's just like you're
So true.
back in the. It's just like the 2020s version of like, no, I do not want a Watchtower pamphlet. I'm good.
My apologies, fellow chat member. I've got COVID. You might want to back up.
The worst part, I swear, like 90% of them use AI now for it. Yeah, it is one of
Yeah.
those because it's always very. It is very like. This is this is why I'm like, if someone sends me a DM like or whatever, it's like please start by stating your name and like the purpose of your message and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
I at least know you're an actual person as opposed to, hey, what's up? You contacted me.
Just the Ram DM. Hi, how's it going? Pretty good. Who the heck are you?
Yes. Who are you? Uh
I don't even like ever like respond to this half the time. If anybody
Yes.
DMs me on like Twitter or Blue Sky, they go hi. I'm just like, nope,
Yeah. It's like if this is a
nope, nope,
person,
nope.
they will state like
They will state what they need or want
yes,
or
they will
something.
state, "Hey, I'm a friend of so and so" or something like that. That's why when I like
Exactly.
send messages like to especially when I'm doing this thing of like spilling the tea, I'm very much like, "Hello, I am." Then I do several bits of text about here's what this is regarding, which which ironically gets me in trouble when I'm trying to message stuff on Twitter because the Twitter bots immediately like want to like be like, "Are you a spam account?"
Not necessarily, however.
It's like, no, if I was a spam account, I would just be starting with hi. That's how spam works in the
Sometimes I will actually go to their like actual social media account, see who else they like go and bug, and it'll just be like a spam of like bugging a bunch of people. Like, yep, I know what you're about.
yeah. I'm gonna just DM you, Virgil, like, hello, I hope this message finds you before I
No.
tell us why you asked us. How's our day going? Yes, exactly. So I hate that because it's like it makes you suspicious, you know, and then it's kind of like it's like it's morphs or whatever your you know it's like literally of now I'm thinking of wait the answers this new chatter is somewhat following the form of this is either someone being very nice and polite and being wanting to get to know me as a streamer or it's a scammer. I don't like that idea. I don't like that I've been my brain has now been whatever about that. So yeah, but I guess thankfully in terms of like small things, that's definitely smaller on the predators of predatory chain of food chain of stuff you can come in contact as a streamer for sure. Um,
Absolutely.
and so far I have not. I mean, so far I have not ended up on a Google Docky, so we're all I'm a good. So you haven't wound up on a Google Docky yet, have you?
Technically speaking, I think yes, but not as like the bad guy,
Oh,
just
okay.
on a technicality sense, if that makes any sense. Let me tell you, as not the bad guy, I kind of have to like, man, I don't want to be here anyways. It's awful.
You are just a witness of something unfortunately type of situation.
Pretty much. It's one of those like when you get involved, you're like, I don't want to be involved, but here I am.
It's like, yes, I will verify that this happened at such a date. Now can I go home?
Pretty much.
Uh,
Is this true? Yes. Can we move on? It's like, man.
uh, okay. That question, what has been one of the most memorable moments streaming?
Ooh, that's a really good question. It's gonna be a bit of a like not a mixed answer per se, but like, oh, how do I say this? Like not a specific stream, but like a particular time of year. So one of my favorite types of streams to do, um, is I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. Honestly, you probably will. Whenever VTuber SummerSlam rolls around, it's like a
Mm-hmm.
charity event that they have where,
Oh, right.
um, yeah, like where they you raise money on your end with your campaign, and whatever money you end up getting goes to the kids in hospitals to like have video games to play. They end up like funding like consoles, the games themselves,
Mm.
controllers, the carts they roll in for the patients, so that way they can like enjoy video games while like they're getting their treatments done and all that kind of such. Like I always find that to be like a very like fulfilling, fun like thing to do. So usually I always end up coming up with like a list of things to like torture myself, whether it's something hot or something just something crazy to like earn money for that event. And I always try to, do the 5 days that are available. We raise a certain amount of money. And I've been doing that for about 4 years now. And pretty successful the last 4 years doing it too. And I had this like super special moment. Not this year, but last year. They could go anywhere in the world, like any hospital, any state, could be in another country as well, where they'll take photos of like, oh, we were able to fund a new like game console for this hospital, and they'll take a photo of the kids playing it, and it always warms your heart to see that kind of thing. I'm thinking in my mind, you could go to any state. It could be New York, it could be California, it could be Texas, it could be anywhere. And I'm not gonna say specifically where, but like not this year, but last year, the hospital that like is really close to me, they were the first one to get like a photo of like, yeah, look what you guys did raising all that money. We were able to help the kids of so and so hospital. And I remember like I've gone to this hospital before when I was a kid, for whatever I needed.
Aw.
And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm like, it's the local one. Like I just didn't expect anything like that. And that post, when I saw that day, warmed my heart, knowing like I had just got done doing that charity event, and
Mm,
I had raised just the right amount for the thing that they were able to fund at that hospital. And I felt like I had this moment of like, wow, I feel like I really contributed towards this like big, you know,
mm,
it's you're gathering all these VTubers for a good cause, and we do it every year. Next year will be my 5th year, and I'm so excited because I love doing that. But
mm,
it's less of like a specific stream and more like I just every time that rolls around each year, it's specifically those memories that like I carry throughout the entire year. It's
mm.
always fun.
But yeah, that is really cool, and especially when it's like, and it's, you know, it was like the thing when you're like, sometimes it can be like hard to connect sometimes with like if you're doing something with charity or stuff like that, it can be hard to like connect with because you're not as connected. So when you do get like a chance with that where it's like, oh wait, I've been to this location that got this, that's like I was involved in helping like to impact and stuff like that,
Yeah,
that it really like it really brings home that this really does like benefit and help actual people.
exactly.
um
Like you felt like I guess I got kind of lucky last year when it
mm,
happened, but like when I saw that post, I was like, it just like I had already loved doing it the first couple of years, but when I saw that, I was like, it really brought home just how much
mm,
like how powerful the VTuber community can be when you all get together for like a good cause. It's
mm,
just really cool. I ended up going out of my way too after that was all said and done, and ended up buying like a little mug with the logo for VTuber SummerSlam, and I use that mug all the time now because I'm like, it'll be the dead of winter, and I'm like, it'll be a summer looking cup, but I'm like, yep, I remember this.
mm. uh
It's nice. It's really nice.
okay, so then what's your favorite collaborative event, which I guess may be that,
Ooh.
but
To a degree, yes. I actually do have a fun answer for this. So there's this thing called the VTuber Creators Club,
mm-hmm,
that Twitch holds, and I remember trying to get into it several months back, to kind of just learn up on like VTubing and streaming and all these other things. You can find new people in there to collaborate with, et cetera, et cetera.
mm,
And I remember holding a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament, pulling in like various new VTubers that I've just never met before. Thinking like, okay, that's risky bisky because you're gonna be meeting like almost a dozen people you don't know, but let's try this. And set it up as like a tournament where like half of you go over here, half of you go over there, blah blah blah, and it went well. Like people really enjoyed it, and we all got like a lot of growth and learned a lot from it, and we had a super good time. Then the Switch 2 comes out, and Mario Kart World comes out, and yes, gamers of the world, I know that's had its own reputation, but anyways,
mm,
that came out, and that game allowed up to 24 people. And I'm like, oh wow, 24 people. That's a lot of people who could be playing Mario Kart. So I decided to do a follow up like sequel stream and say like, let's gather VTubers for this like 24 player Mario Kart. And I think by the end of it, like, out of 24 people, we had like I think three three or four so people like bail out, which meant it wasn't the full 24. It was like maybe 20. It might have been 19 at the very least. But anyways, that was still like a lot of people for like what is like gathering people for Mario Kart. And I just remember it being like so much fun, it being chaotic, and just meeting. Like I had invited a couple of my personal friends who were part of the Creators Club, along with like people we just didn't know, and we all just like gathered like almost 2 dozen people to just vibe out, talk about video games. I gave everyone like a minute to like talk about like who they are, what they're about, kind of almost like an interview in a way, but like, like introduce yourself. Everybody introduce themselves. And because we had that many people, even if each person had a minute to introduce themselves, you better believe that was like a half an hour to like almost an hour of introductions before we could even play
Oh
Mario Kart. It was
yeah.
kind of funny. It's kind of funny how that went out. Um, but I'm kind of honored to say like I hosted something that big. I've never hosted anything that big before because it's kind of scary to have that many people in a Discord call. I'm somebody who like if I do a collab, the highest amount, including myself, that I want in a collab at max, where things were comfortable enough, is at least like 5. That's including myself. So I could do like 4 or 5 people, including myself. When I was trying to do something with 20 plus people, I'm like, all right, this is ambitious. This is either going to be the most annoying thing in the world or something I can kind of like say I'm honored enough that I got to host this. Everybody from that collab had a good time, said thank you so much for doing this, and like had good memories from it. So much so that that same group now wants to do like Sonic Racing cross-world sessions and whatnot. We're going to try to organize something like that in the future. But like I hold that collab in high regard because I've never stepped up to the plate to do something like that. I've never considered myself like a leader or anybody who could helm something like that. And I said I want to try it, and I did, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. So that was like not even what this past June, July, so a couple months back. But yeah, I was proud enough to say like that was like the the collab I really was proud of.
Mm. Okay. And then so what are some short-term streaming goals do you have? And then what are some long-term
Ooh,
streaming goals do you have?
I'm glad you asked because I've actually been thinking about this now more than ever. So short term streaming goals. So I like to set bars, not too terribly high to where I'm not like how a lot of people go like, yeah, I'm going to become a Twitch partner. I think that's great. I think if you want to aim for that, that's perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I like to set like bars that lead me to like a goal. So like if I
Mm.
wanted a Twitch partner, I'm not going to go into 2026 going like, yo, I'm going to get Twitch partner next year. Let's set the bar where you think you can set a bar, and if you so happen to shoot above that, great. So I'm somebody who like currently right now, and some people care about the number, some people don't. I'm in a point of my life where, like I said, I'm getting ready for this like soft reboot of mine. I've been investing a lot of time and effort into it constantly since late June of this year. Um, and I've been wanting to take streaming more seriously and this and that. And I set a bar, when it comes to viewership. And all of 2024, I was stuck at an average viewership of I think it was 19 views, which not bad. I have a lot of people who come up regularly, show up to my streams. They're really nice. I have an awesome community. A couple of them have come through this stream and wanted to show you some support, so thank you guys. Um, and I was stuck at 19, which again I was thankful for, but I'm thinking like you put a year's worth into Twitch, you're thinking like, oh, I didn't move an inch. You know,
Mm.
why didn't I move? Only recently have I changed that number from like I think I went from 19 to 29 recently, which is like insane because I
Ooh,
didn't move
nice.
I didn't move whatsoever for like a long time, and only like the last month or two I've like moved up and went, oh, I think I get it now, and I've just been looking into like researching like what works, what doesn't work. There's a whole bunch of stuff behind it, but anyways, my short-term goal, because I'm at 29 right now, my short-term goal is by my anniversary next year, like which is late March, I'm hoping to reach I think reasonably, if I really go at it and I'm smart about what I do, I'm aiming for 35, 40, which some people might argue that's not a huge jump. Keep in mind, I moved up 10 in the past couple of months very recently, where like for a year there, I was stuck at
Mm.
18, 19. So like I'm hoping to hit that like 35, 40. If I go higher than that, fantastic. If I'm at like 33 or something by the time it's my anniversary, that's okay. Growth is growth. So that's like a short term one I have.
Mm.
I'm about 300 followers away from 4K. I don't know when I'll hit that, but it's kind of one of those like I would love to hit 4K by probably early next year. I'm not like pushing the envelope for like it's got to be this year. If it so happens, fantastic. But I don't want to like you see I'm setting a bar that's like
Mm.
not too high, but like fairly reasonable. Like I'm not going like yeah, let's reach like Twitch partner in the next 3 months. Yeah, let's reach like 10K in like half a year. Like I've been in the game long enough to know like don't bank too high there. But like I like to keep my short term goals like yeah, like I said, maybe in the next couple of months it'd be nice to hit 35 in terms of viewership
Right.
or followers. It'd be nice to hit maybe like 4K early 2026. It could be January, February, March, any of those time frames. So I like to set my bars that high or like that, reasonable. In terms of long term, I did take a shot in the dark. I could easily be wrong. I would like to reach Twitch partner, but I'm aiming. My goal is 2 years. I think I can hit it in 2 years if I'm smart about it. If it takes three, if it takes five, that's okay. I can live with that. But I feel like if I look into it as best as I can, I'm aiming for 2 years. Um, I tried aiming for. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but I tried aiming for a like a VTuber group called VFur. I'm sure you're familiar with them.
I think I've
If not,
seen them. I think
yeah,
I've
you might
seen
have
it
seen them in like
occasionally.
passing. But yeah, they're like a cool like group, and they do like a new like lineup generation like every year, and you can like apply for it. And I applied for it this year, like with some decent confidence. I did not get in, but I was like, technically speaking, my like branding is like I call myself Zack and Sonic. It's a human character, and then like a Sonic OC. And a Sonic OC isn't like just like your flat out like furry type character. They're like, they are, but they, I've mixed in like that human character with it. So like I don't know if they just saw it as like
Right.
it's not very like furry of you to be. So I wasn't sure if that was like a reason as to why I wasn't picked. Maybe I still have growth
Yeah.
to do. Who knows? But
You weren't furry
without
enough
saying
for the furry club.
yeah, I wasn't furry enough for the furry club. Without saying too much, which I wouldn't mind showing you something at some point if you want.
Hmm.
The next thing I'm getting in November, we might be aiming a little bit more in that direction. So I'm hoping that maybe sometime in the future they'll consider taking up on me being a member of that kind of thing. But again, I'm going to take that time to like rebrand and change a few things
You're
and
you're,
and
you're
just
becoming you're rebranding as a shag carpet VTuber.
absolutely. They call me Shagster. I will not take that back. Why are you looking at me? Why am I always caught on my BS, bro? It's a if you had the context of the call, man. She is giving me a look, man.
Guys, you.
Oh man, I'm getting cooked over here.
Sure, can I go live with
I'm getting like a mild roast in the
you?
corner.
You
They're
can't
roasting
stand this
me.
bullshit anymore.
Oh my
The most
god,
right
I
now.
can't with her. I love you so much. Please don't leave me. Crossing your fingers like a cross. Back beast. Wow. After all I've done for you. Remember when I went to go use that bathroom during the 3 minute ad break we had here, and I decided in that 3 minutes to rush and go get you a drink? Yeah, I was nice. I did nice things for you. Remember that? The Shackster helping you out with that? We're keeping the name.
I'm divorcing him.
Your catchphrase is "Get shagged." Oh no!
I'm so sorry.
I'm the Shackster. I go around shagging.
It's been fun here, but can I leave like tomorrow?
It's
Cool. I mean, I
I've
have
gotten
a
you in
vehicle.
trouble
God,
twice this night.
twice so far.
Almost a third time with the waifu bit or whatever. It's just
That's true. That's true. I probably would have elaborated a bit more on that if I wasn't afraid of getting stairs. I gave a good answer though. I gave a legitimate answer.
so yeah, I got a 2.5
2.5.
2.5 like getting you I got you in trouble 2.5 times.
2.5 times. We love her though. She's funny.
Uh okay. So then if you could collab with one famous streamer, who would you pick?
Famous streamer? Oh God. That's a really good question.
I don't want to be
Hmm. Somebody famous.
for the girlies.
I have a bit of an interesting answer. If there was not a language barrier, like I could understand the language, probably Corone.
Oh, okay.
Just because I think they're really funny and I like their branding and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Problem is that I wouldn't be able to like talk back with them properly. But like if that wasn't like an issue, probably them. Yeah. I don't really like not to be that guy because like I know people are like into like big VTubers and such. I usually stick around the ballpark of those trying to like grow. Like I'm not saying like you have to be like small, but like anyone between like your starting out as a VTuber all the way up until like your 100 like I'm gonna say 150 viewer range. Like I'll like chime in and check in on like those types of streams. But if you're like in the thousands range, like it's not that I don't watch you. It's just like I kind of find it fun to watch people like grow their communities more than like like oh like someone like Iron Mouse. Like I respect her and like I said like she inspired me at one point, but I don't really like keep up with her streams or anything like that. Like I'll keep up with like her posts every now and then, but for the most part, like I'm going out and I'm like watching a friend and seeing their stream and seeing them grow, or somebody I might look up to in their work and like go like, oh, I want to see how your stream's going. Um, like like you're familiar with Sam, like I'll go and like lurk in her streams and see how that's going, and I want to see them like grow and hey, like speaking of like watching some friends and wanting them to grow and whatnot, good old Otterly just followed. Almost said subbed.
Hey.
No, the YouTube mentality's coming back. Oh no.
Welcome in, Artily VT. Welcome on in. I appreciate
Hello.
I appreciate you the follow
Good,
and coming in.
good friend of mine. We love the rat. Their name is Otterly, but they do go by a rat.
Oh, okay. Uh, okay, and then so this is the last question I have. So if there's any like remaining
Sure.
questions people want to like put in, that was your last chance to do it. Let's see. I do have an otter OC, but maybe one day I'll have a PNG of them.
There you go.
Okay. So, what advice would you give to people considering streaming and/or VTubing?
Ooh, so I've got quite a bit of advice, but I'm gonna give the first piece. That's the most important. And somebody might argue like, "Oh, that's not good advice," or it's like, "Is that really advice?" No matter what you're doing, whether you're wanting to grow or you're just somebody who wants to have, like just chill out and vibe, whatever your goal is, please have fun with it. Have fun with it. Treat it fun. Give people like a fun, exciting time. I don't even care if it's chill vibes. Like you have to have fun with it. Don't ever make it feel like it's a burden or like stressful work or anything like that. Because nobody wants to come into a stream where it feels like a job has to be done. There's a difference between like a game is like stressful and you're trying to get that done, and like somebody feeling like they're streaming because like they want to be professional and make it a job or something like that. Like just enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself, have fun. That's the first rule in my opinion. It's the best way to go about that. Nothing wrong with being professional, but also nothing wrong with being goofy either. I'm a little bit of a mixture of both. I like being professional, but everybody likes, being goofy and all that kind of such. Um, Second piece of advice, if you do want to grow, obviously consistency is very important. It's not the only aspect to do. People always like to tell you like, "Oh, be consistent, you'll get there." It's not the only thing that'll help you grow. But people do like consistency. I wouldn't want like one of the biggest pieces of advice that people try to give that I feel like people are very bad about following is you'll go to stream like 2 times a week, fall off of streaming for a good couple of weeks, come back like a month later, stream 3 times, fall off for a month, come back. You can't do that. That won't work if you ever want to grow. Like people want somebody that you can like, you could turn on the TV and go like, "Oh, I know this channel. It's always playing SpongeBob." You don't want to be that like, "Oh my God, they're playing this movie. I haven't seen this in ages." Like, don't be that one because then people are gonna find you to be the rare species like VTuber that, like they'll come watch your one stream and then like you'll fall off the face of the planet. Like you're never gonna like grow at that point. You're gonna have the same people come back like, "Oh my God, I miss you," but like that's about as far as you're getting for the most part. And then uh I'm gonna like throw out my third piece of advice. This is the one I've learned in recent. I deemed myself a variety streamer at the beginning of this stream when I was like, introducing myself. I am a variety streamer, I play a little bit of everything, but it never hurts to find what you would deem your niche. If there's something like you're very big on, like as a genre or just like the type of games that you play, never feel bad to like dip into those a lot more than you would think you would. Because I've come to realize like with me, like if I want to grow as an individual, people like it when I play platformers. And that is my number one genre. That's my favorite genre. So if I dip into that more frequently, people will show up and you grow and grow and grow. It works well. Whereas like I go to play like a spooky game. I like spooky games. but half my community is like, no, that's too spooky for me. I don't like those. Or oh, they mess me up mentally. They're too scary. I totally get that. Not everybody likes that kind of thing. So it cuts you in half with your viewership because
Hmm.
people are maybe they're scared of that kind of thing. Totally reasonable. So one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give in that regard, third and final piece, is if you want to grow, find that thing you're passionate about. I can care less if it's like, yo, I'm big on like like kart racers, or I'm going to be the Fallout streamer. If you're passionate enough and you show your love for it and you're consistent with that area, you might actually grow pretty darn well. Um, the hardest part about being a variety streamer is like if you play a little bit of everything, people don't. It's hard to pick up on your vibes because it'll be like, oh, you're playing a platformer the next day. Yeah, I'm playing Doom Eternal. It's like like they're gonna get hit with whiplash of like, oh, that's different. Like I love that game, but they're gonna be hit with that whiplash of like, oh, that's different. And then the next day it'll be like, oh, we're playing like I don't know, like you could be playing a sports game or something. And you're like, oh, it's not what I expected you to play. We're back to platformers. Oh, thank God, that's what I followed you for. The day after that, we're playing a simulator. Oh, yeah, this seems interesting. And then back to a spooky game. Nah, it's not for me. Like you start doing that roller coaster of different types of games, it's hard to grow because you're trying so many different things.
Hmm.
Like I won't speak for everybody, but look at any streamers you look at out there that you look up to that are gaining success or like are growing. Chances are 9 out of 10 times they're hitting that like niche that they do all the time. Like
Yeah,
I'm
there
sure
was
you can even think of one, Virgil, that like you'll think of a VTuber like that's their thing. That's the thing they play. That's the thing they do, and they grow from it. It sucks because like I love all flavors of gaming. That's the hard part. I want
Hmm.
to play so many different things, but I've come to realize the algorithm does not like it when you go outside of your comfort box and try to do something different. But at day's end, please do what you want to do. If you're like, yo, I like growth, but I also like having fun and doing my own thing, please do. I'm not telling you like you have to do it just for growth. If you're like, because I'm doing a stream tomorrow night. I'm actually doing a pumpkin carving stream with like a live webcam and everything. Where my
Ooh,
hands,
nice.
I'm carving pumpkins. That has nothing to do with my content, and I don't even know how well it'll do. But I don't care. It's spooky season. It's October. I want to do something different. That'll be a stream where I'm not going into it for growth. I'm going into it because I want to give people like something unique and fun.
Hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
You, you
Find your vibe.
you know what your new niche could be? Your
Ooh,
next
what's
new
that?
niche could be
Hold on, let me go post that in my
del
server that
delivering
actually
packages with Norman Reedus and his amazing fetus.
Yeah, absolutely. With a monster can in my back pocket, and I've got Kojima's like a contact, and he's constantly calling me saying like, "Deliver those pizzas faster." I'm so sorry.
There is a part in the game when you can actually deliver pizzas.
I believe. Yeah, I think that's right. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also, oh yeah, and sad, so like the Monster Energy drink specific that only lasted like during the initial like run on console. So like if you just get like the now like director's cut on PC, they're just kind of like more they're like a generic in-game brand or whatever,
Yeah. Oh, I
So
see what you mean now, because
it
they probably lost the
yeah, it was like a
licensing behind
limited
that.
time thing. So it's just, so sadly you won't see Monster Energy drinks in the thing.
Has,
But
has that game been like modded to any degree where people put it back in?
I'm sure you could find a mod of like people doing it. I'm sure someone has
Yeah,
like I'm sure it's out there.
I'm gonna
Um
look it up. That's trending monster mod. Mod to restore monster energy. Yep, let's see.
yep,
Yeah,
that sounds
yeah,
about right. Yep.
with the Nexus mods. Yep, there it is. Has to. You have to have that.
Where there's a will, there's a mod.
Well, true, true.
Um but yes, this has been an absolute pleasure. I do appreciate you coming in this. I very much enjoyed this interview. Um
Absolutely. I had a super fun time doing this.
it's just is there anything upcoming for people to I know you mentioned that you have the pumpkin carving stream coming up. Is there anything else that people should be stay tuned for from you?
Oh, absolutely. We got quite a few things. So I've got the pumpkin carving stream on Monday, which is tomorrow. Playing more Pokemon Legends ZA on Tuesday. That'll be the second stream I've done of that. I've got a Sonic Racing Cross Worlds community night session on Wednesday. And that's just more so my schedule for this week. And yeah, if anybody stays tuned, I know, like I said before, I know I go by like the Sonic Movie and VTuber
Mhm.
model that you see on the screen right now and whatnot. We're making some big changes come mid-November near my birthday. Debuting something brand new, like brand new character, brand new design, rehaul of emotes, rehaul of everything. Everything's being done from the ground up. It's been a project I've been working on for 4 months now, going on 5. And we're about to showcase it here in about a little less than a month. So very excited for that. It is a huge change on my part, the biggest change I've had in the last like decade. But I'm very excited for it. And yeah, I hope people look forward to it. It's gonna be an awesome time.
Okay, yes. Cool. And but yeah, I hope everyone has enjoyed. This has been episode 24 of Spilling the Tea with Zach and Zonic. So I hope to see y'all next time for our next episode of Spilling the Tea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me, everybody.